Welcome, everyone, to Chirping Zebras, episode 49. Mark Riley alongside Gino Pinda Jr., coming to you from AOA Studios in Beverly, the best studio you can tape a podcast or anything you want to tape at. And off the hop, we want to thank our sponsor, the Referee's Crease, one-stop shop for all your refereeing needs.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I'm not rocking any gear tonight, but I did wear the winter hat down here. But
well, you're rocking the zebra garb, so that's good, which you can get on our website, chirpingzebras.com. Right? Yeah. We got some new stuff coming out. We got some hockey.
I kind of like this hat.
That's it. Yeah, that was
It doesn't sit as nice as the other one, but
Chris
I do
McMullen
like the other. I like the one, the little gray.
He hooked us up with a different style. Yep. He's got the CZP that we've seen before, and we got some hockey sweatshirts he's making for us with the ties.
Yeah, maybe we could get some purple ones.
Maybe we could. I got the purple on. I'm wearing the brand new sweatshirt. Get this, all right?
Where'd you get that, by the way?
Now, hold on. So I was going to duct tape over the bar stool because they haven't called us yet. But maybe by wearing this, Dave Portnoy will make a phone call and we'll be on there. But I get that. I'm in TJ Maxx with Frankie Chirps.
Sounds pathetic.
Right? Frankie Chirps. Well, we need help. I'm with Frankie Chirps. He loves TJ Maxx. He loves Marshalls. He's a fashionista.
Yeah. That
fashionista like his dad.
Would love TJ Maxx.
All right, enough with the squirrels. And so we're in there. We're walking around, and I come upon this at the clearance rack. Guess how much I paid for this sweatshirt?
$5.
$6.
All right.
$6. So, you know what? Even if I wear it this once, who cares?
Dude, you could find some gold at TJ. Oh, what is it? Macy's. What's the other one?
Marshalls.
Marshalls.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love both of them.
Awesome.
My favorite stores.
Yep.
So I'm wearing my $6 Barstool sweatshirt.
Right on.
And hopefully someone will notice.
I'm wearing my free Chirping Zebras.
If your father was here, he would argue.
Yes.
But that's all right.
I'm still on scholarship. It's all right.
We all are. And I gotta own the fact that we got the black tablecloth.
I love this black tablecloth.
I kind of do too.
I dig it.
It's got a art class feel to it, and it's because I'm an idiot and I spilled the water all over the white one.
Yeah, because I filled my cup up and you asked if I rinsed them, and I said yes. Was it 2 weeks ago I did?
Yeah, well,
they sat in a cabinet with closed doors. They looked nice and clean. I bring them out, and you asked if I rinsed them, and I was gonna lie, but I didn't.
You should have.
And I had water in my cup, and you just ripped them all to go clean it because you're anal. And
I don't like dust. No. What do you want? I'm allergic. But it's nice. It
I
looks
like
good.
it.
It looks good. And of course, we're in February, so it's Black History Month.
There you go.
So this is perfect.
We'll keep this table for the month. Yeah.
Zafir, one of our producers, hooked us up.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. So I'm happy with it.
Right on.
All right. Well, we're going to get to we have a great guest. Last week was awesome. Derek Amell.
Yes.
NHL, 24 years.
What a character. He's funny, man. I sat with him at Robert Morris. We watched the women's game. He supervises for me in Atlantic Hockey.
Yep.
Took a hiatus this year, obviously, because, if you watched last week, his son's playing in Sacred Heart, so conflict of interest. But I laugh for, 3 hockey periods. And then when the game was said and done, we go down the room, and the advice he gave to the 4 officials was just head and shoulders above what I gave. Just the way those NHL guys think, the way they see the game, the way they break the game down. It's bar none, head and shoulders above anything I've ever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hell, I gave a good run, didn't make it. No skin off. It is what it is, right? I mean, those guys are the best of the best, and the information they give, and the love and the passion they have for the sport to give back and just to teach. And, I learn something every day, and, those guys are the best.
I think that's what stood out with him, with Stu Cat, Vaughn Rohde, right? Coho. They all have that passion for the game. They all love the game, and they realize that refereeing is not only a part of the game, but it serves a huge purpose.
You know what they don't ask for? They don't ask for fucking money.
No.
Nobody does anything for free anymore, right?
No.
It's oh, well, am I going to get paid, right? I have a couple of supervisors that work for me, and, you never ask, oh, what am I getting? It's just do it for the love of the game. I always gave back. Yep. And us giving back wasn't sitting in the stands watching. Us giving back was getting on the ice and working with these kids.
Yep.
And give them the feedback. And not only you give them the feedback, you show them how it's done. right? Like I'm on the phone now with Eric Doyle probably like every other day with the EHL. And like just I always refer back to watching him, watching his father, watching my father, watching Marty McDonough, watching all these guys growing up, Gravelisi, like you name it. Watching just you're on the ice with these guys, and it's just how they talk how they communicate with the players, the coaches, and the building. Everybody knows that they're in charge, and they're not going to take shit. And they're just going to lay the hammer when they have to, and they'll let the game breathe when they have to. And you're on the ice, and you're seeing that and learning that. And that's so valuable. And I think that's what's hurting now in refereeing.
Well, and the ones that want that, right? I mean, we do the Zooms with different guys, young guys. Yeah. I've worked with Chris Henry a lot.
I've done 2 this week, yeah.
Drexel. Yep. These guys that want to advance, they want to get better.
Those 2 got rewarded this past weekend,
Yeah, and they are getting better. You watch, from year to year, they progress and they apply what we tell them. And, we're not charging for it.
No.
It's all about giving back. And those guys, all those guys are just,
Actually, Henry just texted me on the ride up.
Did he really?
Yeah. I'll see if I've got time tomorrow with them, yeah.
There you go. So shout out to him you went and watched some games last weekend down at Sacred Heart. Was that like the Bean Pot of Connecticut?
So yeah, it was the Bean Pot of Connecticut. It was the Connecticut Ice Tournament. It's friggin' awesome. So I actually was fortunate enough to work the first one. Me and my buddy Ryan Sweeney and Atlantic Hockey had, I think, the assignments that year. I forget how it worked back then, but since COVID, it's been Hockey East, ECAC, and then Atlantic. We just rotate, and it's the home team hosts. So there's 4 teams. So I think ECAC will probably get 2 assignments. Hockey East and Atlantic will get the 1. I think that's how it's going to work. But it's been rotated, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good take. You got Quinnipiac, you got UConn, Sacred Heart, and then Yale. So like the 4 Connecticut schools, and they battle it out. And it was a great hockey game on Saturday night. UConn, who's I think number 4 right now in the country, they were really, really good. And it was a good hockey game. Sacred Heart stayed right with them. It was 1-0. Really good hockey game. So
Chris Henry did that game, didn't he?
He did. Yes, he
was
did.
Referee. My nephew was down there, Steven.
Yep. He worked the consolation game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's having a great year, and it's a great building to work in, too.
So does it have a good name like the Bean Pot? Or
it's a Connecticut Ice.
Connecticut Ice?
Yep.
Yeah, leave it up to
Connecticut Ice Tournament. Yeah, I called it the...
Not have a good name.
Yeah, I kept calling it the Connecticut Bean Pot, and nobody knew what I was talking about. So
no, Connecticut's not known for pretty much anything other than construction and cops.
But I do want to give a shout out though. So I drove down Friday night. I had lunch with my buddy Frank Mangone, who has the gym. He works at, I think it's Powerhouse Gym at the Shelton Ice Arena in Connecticut, right over by when you go over the bridge there on 15 and Parkway. So thank you for lunch. I appreciate it. And then he busted my balls for only eating half of it, but it was an unbelievable sandwich.
You didn't finish your whole sandwich?
No, I couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
I was anxious. I couldn't eat the whole thing.
Oh, God. You didn't want to.
But thanks, Swa.
All right. Cool. Very cool. All right. Well, I want to introduce our guest because we're very excited to have this guy on. Not only one of the top comedians that I work with and that work in this country, one of the nicest guys in the business, too. And he's performed everywhere. You might have seen him on a bunch of different TV things, which we'll get into over a viral YouTube video he had with his daughter. And we're very excited to have him, comedian Mike Hanley. Welcome to the Zebras, Mike.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Mark. Thanks for having me. Gino.
Wow. Gino,
right on. Right off the bat.
We're batting 1,000.
Well, we were talking about Zdeno Chara earlier.
Yeah, that's what threw me off there when you said Zeno.
Z, our producer, and that makes sense. That makes sense.
Off to a good start. Thanks for having me.
Wasn't there, what was it, Xena the Princess Warrior?
Yeah, there you go.
She was with an X, though. But you could be Xena the referee warrior.
Wasn't Gino the Celtics guy that would dance?
Yes. You're right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And they spelt it right, too, not with the I.
We're sure, though, you can't dance.
No, I can't dance.
You've
I
admitted
don't think that was you.
No.
Right off the hop, I mentioned it. So the YouTube video, over 34 million views.
Yes.
Daddy-daughter dance. I mean, if you haven't seen it, you're missing something because it was one of the best ever. Now, you definitely practiced.
Beyond. A lot of people come up to me and they'll say, oh, love the video. Then some people will say, boy, practicing must have been fun. No. I mean, it is so long and so complicated. And honestly, this was before there was a lot of viral videos. So we didn't do it to have a viral video. So my wife's Jewish, my daughters are Jewish, she's having her bat mitzvah. And so my wife thought, actually, hey, wouldn't it be fun? Yeah, I got to wherever the camera is. I have no thoughts. Okay. So my wife thought it would be a good idea if we tried this thing. So we kind of choreographed, very loose term there, choreographed this whole dance, and we didn't tell anybody. And honestly, I just thought it'd be a nice, special moment. I will tell you, my friend Dave was filming it, and I did tell him that if anyone steps in front of him, he, by all means, can knock them down. But we did the dance, and I posted it one time on Facebook. And it got like 200 views and 500 views. And next thing you know, it's like 1,000. Next thing you know, it's 10,000. Next thing you know, it's 50,000. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. And then my sister-in-law in New York City calls and says, hey, the weirdest thing happened. I go, what? She goes, someone forwarded me your dance video. And I said, oh, that was nice. And she's like, no, they didn't know you were related. They just forwarded it because they thought it was a nice video. I'm like, what? So next thing you know, like 2 days later, I look at, and I didn't know this at the time, Google owns YouTube and at the time, and they have a counter. And they thought that I was running some kind of bot to get this amount of views. So they shut my view counter off. And I'm like, oh, well, it was fun while it lasted. Like, I don't know what happened here, but it's over. And then they must have found out that all the views are coming from different places. And it came back on, and it's at 1 million views. And I was like, whoa. So next thing you know, you can look, I didn't know any of this, but you can look to see what countries. I mean, all over the country. And people's comments were so over the top, like, watching this video will make me a better father. I'm like,
too inspirational.
I mean, I think there's better things than watching this video. I don't know how bad a father you are. If this is the moment that's going to make you a better father.
Doing the Macarena.
Yes.
If that's going to put you up top,
right?
Over the edge, why not?
So the comments were so over the top. But then what started happening was, like, People Magazine got in touch with me. And all of these, Yahoo. So I was on the front page of Yahoo when Yahoo was Yahoo, right?
Yeah.
No one's ever said that sentence, I don't think. When Yahoo was Yahoo, I was on the front page of Yahoo. And
I knew what you meant. Sorry.
Yeah. So I was on the front page. And then next thing you know, Today Show gets in touch with me. And they're like, we'll fly your whole family down. The only thing we ask is that you give us the exclusive to have you. I'm like, yeah, I think so. This is kind of weird. I still remember I was on the phone with USA Today and Huffington Post. I don't know.
Yeah.
Huffington Post. Yeah.
When Huffington Post was Huffington Post. Yeah. So I was on the phone with USA Today, and I remember looking at the caller ID and it said Huffington Post, and I'm like, what life am I living right now that I did a dance at a bat mitzvah? And now I'm talking to all these places. But anyways, so they flew us out. The Today Show flew us out, and we were on the show. We danced outside, and dancing dad and his daughter. And I was more nervous than her. I will admit, she did great. I did okay. And it was the craziest thing. And now it's all those views, and it's
wild.
The weirdest.
That's awesome.
It was the weirdest thing, and it's still going. And people every now and then will comment. I'll still get comments on my thing. It's the craziest thing.
So
it's awesome.
What is the view count now?
34.
It's over 34 million on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like it's way up there.
So like my best guy that did the best man speech, my best man at my wedding, my sister-in-law was YouTube, whatever, right? Before it was YouTube.
Yeah.
One day we'll say Chirping Zebras. Before it was Chirping Zebras.
No one's ever going to say the purple sweatshirt before it was the purple sweatshirt. No one's going to say that.
And this might be a one and done.
I liked how he guessed $5, and you were happy. You were so proud about $6.
Yeah, I was.
That made me fun. That made me laugh.
But she posted the thing, and like it, that speech hit like 1 million views.
It's the craziest thing.
It's like holy shit.
Yeah, it's wild how. When we had the Todd Angeli video from this show go viral, that was about 1.8
But that took like 11 years
something.
to go hit 1 million.
Yeah.
Well, I remember you telling me that though. That's
but then I had the comedy video.
That thing was funny.
3.9 million on the TikTok. And it's at 2 million on Instagram. So still waiting to have that mean something.
Maybe you got to get a blue check mark.
I already do.
Oh, you got one.
Oh, I got the blue check mark, and the Zebras have a blue check mark.
Oh yeah.
Money. We're legit.
Wow. People say to me all the time though, how do you so what's the secret to have a viral video? I'm like, there's no, like,
No.
you know this,
Just
right?
keep posting. Something's got to, something stupid.
There's no secret formula to say, like, I'm going to do this and then this.
No.
Like,
well,
it
they
just
say
happens.
you got to post 3 videos a day and all this stuff, but
Yeah.
I just posted it. I guess it hit the algorithm right.
That's
and,
awesome.
You know, and it was funny
That's a
because
great
the same count, I did the same thing. I'm like, wait a minute, 10,000 views. Now I'm on 100,000. Then I'm like, and it just, and it keeps going and people share and the whole thing.
Like my sister-in-law,
crazy.
Sarah, she says like she'll put like so much time in like one of her videos. And it's like, oh, this one came out awesome. And then she'll do something stupid that took like 5 minutes and that one goes off.
That's the
and
one.
she's like, how the fuck? So like she literally just started a podcast like with influencers and she's into fitness, so it's like Influ Fitness or whatever, but she just started this thing up and you know, just how people
awesome.
like, you know, like go viral or how like how that industry works, how did you get started, like, you know, like that Hawk Tour girl now she's famous. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, she's in jail.
Well, yeah.
Actually now because
is she really?
I don't think she's in jail.
She's not in jail, but she got those guys that like reeled her in. She got screwed.
Cybercurrency.
She got into the
Cyber
crypto
bullying.
thing. She made like
no.
Her whole she made like a Hawk Tour currency.
And then literally the price went like this and went like this, and all these people lost money. And then she's been in hiding.
Yeah, she was in hiding, but she's in trouble. And
I must be living under a rock because I knew none of that.
No, it's all right.
Hiding as in Mark's place.
Yeah, okay. She's watching the squirrel tonight.
So, you know what's funny is I was like, the Hawk Tour girl. That's the first thing I thought of because she went viral with something that she was just out having fun one night and made a stupid statement.
Yeah, and it's always fun when your 9-year-old does that too. I'm like, well, shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah. Well, when the kids start saying it, they don't know what it means, and it's like, oh god.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
that happened.
I heard her on an
real
interview.
life. Yeah.
I heard her say that she was like really upset that when it first started, like she called the guy, asked him to take it down, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then there was a point where it's like, this can change my life.
Right. And it did.
You know,
I mean,
truly.
it did.
I mean,
and
except
she
for the
seemed
last-
like a really like she donated a bunch of stuff to like animal shelters and stuff. And she
was
seems
working
like
like
she's
a factory or something.
Yeah. But that's why I say those guys took advantage of her. That was like she didn't
crazy.
mastermind this whole crypto thing to steal money from people.
No.
That was the guys that used her fame to, you know.
And
Enough about that though.
And I'm sure she thought she was going to make a lot, like your OnlyFans, right?
Yeah.
You make
well, you know, I'm up to 3 subscribers. And
those aren't going viral.
And 2 of them, and 2
I like this face when I said like your OnlyFans. There was like a
them.
half a second. I hope the camera's got that. There was a half a second of like, what did you just
Well,
say?
2 of those subscribers are burner accounts of mine, but it's costing me a fortune to be on there. But
You get a bunch of Yahoo email addresses.
I got AOL all over the place.
When AOL was AOL.
It was AOL.
It was.
My buddy still has an AOL.
Really?
account. Yeah.
A few people do.
Yeah.
I think who was it that I just
That's
emailed
weird.
has an AOL? Chappie might have
Yeah,
an
Sweeney
AOL.
does.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. I guess it's still out there.
Going
But
old
that
school.
video of you and your daughter, I mean, we went off, you know, we digressed, was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
And,
Appreciate
you know, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Mike Hanley, comedian, right, on YouTube?
Yeah. Mike Hanley comedian.
Mike Hanley, comedian on YouTube. And it's and now, I got to ask you, in the beginning of the video, right, you're doing a typical...
Like a slow dance.
Well, like you're doing the slow dance, but you also have that look in your face like, oh my God, I am on the dance floor and everyone's looking at me kind of face.
Yeah.
And as soon as you guys started breaking out into the different dances, I saw that at least I saw this, that 2 seconds of, I'm done, I can't do this. And then all of a sudden, like a switch flipped, and next thing you know, you're like, you're still doing all the moves. And I was like, that's awesome. Like,
I will admit, what you can't really see is that, you know, I mean, you can see it. I mean, there's a lot of people standing around. And we're doing the dance, just like every other father-daughter dance and all that. That feeling started when we're doing the dance, and I'm like, because I know it's coming. I know
They don't,
this
but
is
you
a
do.
5-minute scene that's breaking out.
Then no one
And
knows
there's
it's
only
coming.
2 stars. It's me and my daughter Jessica. That's it. That's all we got. And I'm like, and if I screw up, I'm the one that screwed it up. And like I said, we were doing it to shoot the video. We're just having a fun moment.
fun.
Right.
And people were like, and then I remember that day, people were like, did you practice? I'm like, oh no. No. I just made
off the hop.
Like we were just in sync for 5 minutes.
with different dance moves that went with the song.
Like what?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be friends if you think I just made that up.
Right.
But that's, I mean, literally, I had
That
people
would have
say
been my
that to me.
mother. Did you just make that
Yeah.
up?
Like what? And then it was always, did you practice a little? Yeah, maybe a little. I'm not that guy. Yeah, like a scene. I don't remember the show Fame. Remember the show Fame? It was literally like that. It was like scene from Fame broke out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they practice.
You should have had water drop on you with the chair. I mean, that's all that was missing.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
I mean,
true.
but it's just outstanding. We'll play
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
We'll put it out there, and it was just a great thing. And I think thinking back now, all of a sudden, because that was back in what 2000. It was a few years back,
yeah,
right?
It was a few years ago. I can't even remember.
But it seemed like these
long time ago.
daughter-daddy dances
was
all
way
became
before.
a thing. And you probably were the trendsetter.
There was a couple that got married. We saw a video of a couple that got married, and I was like, oh, and my wife was like, that's really cool. I was like, oh, that's really cool. But no one had ever done
No.
what we did.
No.
Right.
And then after that, and even it's funny because I'll see videos get posted of a wedding or a party, and they're using the same clip of the song. Like you can tell they watch this one, and here's the dance moves, and I've seen them literally like do it. I'm like, oh my god, that's my basement. they're doing my move that we came up with, right? So yeah, I do think one of the main reasons it blew up is I do think music transcends like even languages. So, I mean, the amount of worldwide views was just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing, because I don't think you don't have to understand English. You can just hear the music and,
See the
and
performance,
see
right.
the bonding of, me and my daughter. We even, when we flew to New York, I'll never forget this, we checked in at the airport, and the person behind the counter goes, oh, where you going? And I said to Jessica, I was like, tell her. She's like, oh, we're going to Today's Show. And the girl was immediately like, you guys are the video. And I was
No way.
Yeah. I mean, Mark,
awesome.
it was literally like, what's going on here? Like
That's awesome.
This is bizarre. Yeah. It was really weird.
Well, what's fascinating too to me is like you're an absolutely brilliant comedian, and I mean that. And I could watch you perform. If we could work together all the time, I'd love it. And the fact that a dance video with your daughter put you out there as opposed to this brilliant material you come up with. It's just kind of, it's one of those, it's ironic in a sense.
Yeah.
Like I did a show and some guy, we're talking the TikTok at the end, I'm doing my shameless promotion. And this guy, he's got like 20, 30,000 followers. And I go, what do you do? He goes, post pictures of my truck. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, you have that many followers and you just and he goes, yeah, honestly, I have no talent.
Like Frankie Chirps, like you could... like
Frankie,
dog people, like dog
I totally
people,
think that.
yeah.
You could do that.
But
with
it's
Frankie.
just funny to me that, like, I know you as this brilliant writer and a brilliant performer, and it's a daughter-daddy dance video that gets you to be noticed at the airport.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's not a bad thing,
and
but it's just ironic in that, and in this world where there's so many YouTube stars and TikTok stars, and they're funny for that 30-second video.
Yes.
And a lot of them now do stand-up comedy, which is hilarious because they sell out all these places and they have zero act, they have zero material.
I was like, Gino, they're really not good. Like,
Yeah, but that's kind of what I'm getting at is that
not all, but some.
not all.
It's kind
but
of like officiating.
a little bit right now, especially
Right
with the
different.
NHL and what's going on. I mean, you got guys that don't know what they're doing. But
whip 'em out
that was
there.
my
Yeah.
point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like,
totally.
It's just it's funny being a fellow comedian that's I don't know. I just it's typical for this world we live in.
Yeah, no. When it was like at its moment, like crazy moment, I knew that if someone would come up to me, it'd be one of three things. It'd be, oh, I've seen you on stage. Oh, I've seen your video. Or you're the guy that yells at the Providence College basketball games. Like I knew it was one of those three things that people would come up and say to me. So, but and the video was good because I mean, this. I talk about my family on stage, so it wasn't like I'm like this guy and then he's doing this video. So there's a thread there,
right?
But it was a fun.
Well, that's the cool thing is that you are just a dad. That video,
yes,
it's not like you're, I'm trying to think of a celebrity that has a kid, that is doing it because it's like, oh, look at me, I'm a huge
Like
celebrity
any
doing
athlete
that.
or any
Absolutely.
Like
You're just a dad doing his thing, and it's
Yeah.
so awesome. It's so
thanks,
awesome.
man.
And
for the
apparently,
kids. It's for the kids.
you've elevated dadhood around, by doing the Macarena.
I got I never showed you this. Parents This sounds not real. Parents Magazine did a thing, and I was on the same page with Dwayne Wade, like all these people, and there's me and my daughter. And it's like Dancing Dad, one of the best parents of the year. And then Yahoo did a story, same thing. It was like all these movie stars, and there's me. And it's like, what is this? Like, and I'm sure someone was just like, oh, I really like that.
Yeah.
And they just put me in the parenting magazine. It was the weirdest.
That's awesome.
It was definitely weird. But, cool, fun.
Yeah.
And it was really cool for my daughter. My daughter was 13. And we'd come home and look at the comments, and it was just
That's
over
awesome.
the top.
yeah.
It was a great moment. And like I said, it wasn't the intention, so I think it made it even better. Like we just had someone film it just so we would have it.
Right.
And I literally posted it one time, and it wasn't like I'm posting and trying to make it hit. But anyways,
Like we do.
Yeah, well, you gotta
you
do
gotta
it. You gotta
If
do
you're
it,
not
right?
trying, man.
got to post.
And if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do.
So as you were talking, you were getting all these phone calls and this and that. And my buddy Ryan Sweeney, he's one of my best friends. We grew up reffing together, right? And he's like a brother to me. And so there's like every once in a while something goes viral on the internet with reffing. And like my father, we get reached out by some news outlets, right? So this big thing hit like a year ago, and he has a work phone. So he calls my father up and says, "Hey, I'm CNN." Right? Gets them all going. I'm going to be at the house, this and that. So Ryan calls him. Ryan calls him on his regular cell. "Hey, G, how's it going?" He goes, "Hey, this thing's going national. I got CNN coming to the house." Click.
So great. I remember you telling me that.
Oh, my God. It was so funny. When you were going through all that, that's all I could think about.
That is awesome.
I know.
That's a great.
I do know next time we work together and I bring you up, I'm going to say he was featured in Parents Magazine.
Yes.
Yo, that's that's the clip I want.
That's awesome.
That's the credit I want.
That's really good.
That is awesome. And so it's just...
You know what I was going to say? I have it's not a prank phone call. It's a phone call thing that would never happen in today's world. So Pearl, this is such a long old story, but stupid. Okay?
Love it.
So Pearl Jam was going on tour, and they decided they were anti-Ticketmaster because of their fees. So they were going to use this like low-end Ticketron thing. Okay? So really wanted to go to see Pearl Jam. My friend wanted to go see Pearl Jam. Okay? So I said to him, I said, "Look, I got my cell phone, got a landline phone. Okay, I still have a landline phone. My wife won't give it up. I don't."
We have one.
I
have one, but it's just downstairs. It's just there. Like I don't even know what the number is. I have one though.
I know. I paid for it.
Yeah, I
mine
got one,
doesn't ring anymore.
No, nothing. Yeah,
It doesn't ring.
it just sits in my downstairs in my
And we
basement.
still pay.
Yeah.
You don't have a landline phone, do you? No.
I haven't had a landline in years.
I know.
Years. My mother had a landline.
My
but
mother
she
still
was-
has one. Yeah.
We have one.
That's awesome.
I'll give you my home phone number. You can call me next time. And I won't be able to answer.
I'm going to call you on the cell phone.
I give my parents' home number out all the time.
It won't ring.
It doesn't ring.
You should give it out to people you don't want to talk to.
I have a landline phone in my kitchen that won't ring. And I can't replace it.
Is it on the wall?
Because I don't even know where you can buy a landline phone.
Is it on the wall?
It's on the wall.
And it's got
Staples.
does it have the long cord?
It has the long
used
cord.
to almost strangle you back in the day?
It has the long cord.
That is outstanding.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways. So the story. So I tell my friend, I'm like, "Look, let's use our cell phones. Keep your landline phone open because we don't want to buy like 8 tickets. So if one of us gets through, I'll call you on your landline, okay?" And then I said, "But if it's busy all the time, start using your landline phone, and we'll just call, right? We'll use all 4 phones. If you feel like we're not getting through," so immediately like, "Oh my God, we can't get through. This is pre-internet. You can't do it over the internet. You have to do the phone, right?" So immediately, I can't get through. I call him. He answers his landline. I said, "Dude, we got to use all 4 phones. We're not going to get through this, right?" All of a sudden, I get through. I get the tickets. So I'm like, "Oh my God, we're going to see Pearl Jam. How cool is this, right?" So I take the landline phone, and I call his landline phone. And I don't know if you remember this back in the day, but I called him, and he answered. It didn't ring. He answered, and I heard, he's dialing. He's dialing.
Yeah.
He's dialing on the phone. He doesn't know I'm on the phone. Like I just
I
just happened. Your phone, right?
I know exactly.
I called him at that exact moment.
time.
He picked it up and put it to his ear. So I go, Ticketron, this is John. How may I help you? And he's like, and I could hear in his voice, he's like, oh, right? He's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get Pearl Jam tickets. I'm like, okay. And dude, I'm telling you, I sat on this phone and I'm like, and what is your first name? And I'm like, and his last name's Bajabian. So I would go, so he'd be like, I said, oh, Bajabian. And then he'd go, R-A-J. I'm like, R-A-G? And he's like, no, R-A-J. And I'm like, R-E-R-E-J?
Oh my God.
And I just kept going. And he couldn't lose his cool.
Right.
He wanted
He wanted those tickets.
Because he wanted the Pearl Jam tickets, right? I let this go so long. I finally spell it right. And then I go, oh my God, I'm sorry, we're sold out. So now I hang up. And he calls me. He's like, I almost had them. I had the worst rep ever. He wouldn't spell my name right. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, and then I let him go on his rant. And then I go, how is he spelling your name? Like, and then I go, R-E-G. And then there was just silence. And he goes, wait, how did you do that? I'm like, dude, I just randomly called you at the same exact time that you picked up the phone. And I know there's people watching this that have no idea what I'm talking about. But in landline phones, you could do that.
Yeah, no,
I know exactly what you're
that.
talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's
that
one
is
in
the
a
best
million.
prank ever.
Yeah,
You can't. You couldn't pull that prank if you tried.
No, not now.
No, not now. You could do it at two of our houses.
Well, yeah.
We could call each other and do it.
We'll prank each other, yeah.
That is freaking hilarious.
Anyways, that's my
That's
landline.
next level shit right
That's
there.
my landline story.
That's
Oh
thinking
my
on your
God.
toes too, like right. That's very
When I
quick.
heard the
Yeah,
beep, beep, beep,
presence
beep,
of
beep,
mind. Just
I was like,
go instantly. Know that you already have the tickets. Like you already have the answer to the hall.
If
Like
I didn't
that.
have the tickets, it'd be the cruelest joke ever.
Right.
And at the very end, he was so mad at me. And I was like, dude, we got the tickets. He was, what are you talking about? I got the tickets. I was calling you to tell us we got the tickets. We're going to see Eddie Vedder.
The funniest story.
I've never
heard that story.
I don't think I've ever told that story.
Oh my
I thought
God.
when you said your phone
Hey,
story.
speaking of going viral, never mind.
But we were on the ride up. I was telling Gino about some of the things you do, some of the stories, and I'm like, I didn't even call them bits because they're stories. Of actual
real stuff.
Stuff that happens, and it's just. I mean,
I always say, my wife says I'm a magnet. I'm like a magnet for nonsense. Like there's always, and I'm a scammer too. Like I will truly admit.
Yeah, I've heard that about
free.
you.
Yeah, nothing full price, right?
I mean, I will take advantage of a situation. I remember when Tom Brady left the Patriots. I have to acknowledge it, right?
Yep.
And so he's leaving the Patriots, and I was in my home, and I heard this one small report that he was going to go to Tampa. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, and Tampa hadn't really been discussed. I mean, maybe at a very low level. So I run down to my basement, and I go online. I didn't have to use the phone. I went online, and I sat there, and I'm like, if he goes to Tampa, I can make money.
How early on was this?
This was like
Before he signed.
25 minutes before he signed.
Okay.
So I run down to my basement, and I buy 4 season tickets to Tampa Bay. Now, in that moment, I'm like,
you can't even get like on the list for the Patriots. Never mind, just buy season ticket. Like
Tampa,
Tampa,
they'll let you buy them. They'll give you hugs. Like they don't have people.
Well, back then they had nothing.
Yes, they had nothing.
Right? Nothing.
They had nothing. Right.
Yep. Wow.
So I buy the tickets, and then
4 season tickets.
So then I literally didn't tell my wife I was buying them. They weren't cheap. I mean, 4 season tickets.
Right.
So I'm in my basement, and I remember just sitting there, like, okay. Either this is the best investment I've ever made, or I just bought 4 tickets to the worst team in football, and I'm going to have to tell my wife that we have season tickets to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? And then I just sat there, and like 25 minutes later, ESPN, Tom Brady, in a shocking announcement, is going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I was like, I think I was happier than Tom Brady or the Tampa Bay Bucs. I was so excited. So me and my 3 friends, we would go once a year to the games. And we made quite a bit of money because they were good once Brady got there.
Yeah, once he's there.
And people wanted them, and they won the Super Bowl. You know, the whole thing. COVID kind of hurt my investment a little bit because there wasn't as many tickets being sold, obviously. But then the next year, and then the year after that, and it was crazy. To the point where when Brady retired, I was withdrawals. I was like,
he was still good.
Yeah. And then he came back. Remember he did the fake retirement? And then he came back. Luckily, I didn't give them up.
Right.
Then when he retired, my friends kind of had an intervention with me because they're like, we should give them up. we should move on. We've made good money. Well, let's move on from this. And I was like, oh, well, what if they sign somebody good? Like I was just too into it. And then I did the adult thing and gave them up. But they played well. I mean, I would have made Brady money, but it was good. I will tell you though.
Brilliant.
I know Mark knows this story. So I'll tell you this. So we went down.
One of my favorite stories, by the way.
So we go down, and so it's my friend Chris, my friend Allie, and this guy Peter, my friend Peter. If he's watching this, he's a friend too. So
you better watch it. You're on.
So it's the four of us, and I remember we stayed at an Airbnb and we're walking to the game, and it was warm out. And Peter said something about being too warm. And I said, I'm just going to announce this right now. I was like, you know that expression, no man left behind? I said, this is the opposite. Every man left behind. I said, if you drop, I'm going to the game. I don't care about you.
Right.
I don't care about anything. Okay? So we go to the game. Good game. They won. And now we're flying out the next night. So we have the whole day to do something. So my friend's like, let's go to Clearwater. I think it was Clearwater. No, maybe not Clearwater. Maybe it is Clearwater, where Hulk Hogan has a bar.
Sounds right.
Yeah. So we go there, and we're like, okay, we're going to go have lunch at Hulk Hogan's place. I'm a wrestling fan, right? I know Hulk Hogan's controversial, but and back then it was like, you know,
America.
Whatever. There you go. So we get there, we park, we see Hulk Hogan's bar, and we're thinking we're going to eat lunch there. And we're all like kind of looked at it and like, this doesn't look like a good lunch place, right? So So Hulk Hogan has a store next to the bar, like the Hulk Hogan store. So we go in there, my friend buys a shirt, we're having a good time, whatever. So now my friend's like, well, let's go for lunch. So we go for lunch across the street, and it's the four of us. And we get done lunch, and someone goes, so what are we going to do now? I'm like, oh, I've already figured this out. And they're like, what? I'm like, we're going to go to Hulk Hogan's house. And my friend Peter, my friend Peter's a little bit, I don't know how to describe it, a little bit on like the conservative nervous side. Yep. He was just like, no. And I'm like, yeah. I looked it up. It's only 7 minutes away. And my other friend's like, yeah, that sounds good. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, we're going to go to Hulk Hogan's house. How cool would that be? Right? We got nothing else to do. So we get in the car. My friend Chris is driving. I'm in the front seat. Allie and Peter in the back. So we're driving, go through the thing, no gates, no nothing, right? Pull up, there's Hulk Hogan's house, because I looked it up, I saw the picture, right? I'm like, oh my God, that's cool, that's Hulk Hogan's house there. So we drive by, and as we drive by, there's like a 4x4 with black tinted windows on, and it's on. So we're like, oh, that's weird. So now we pull up, we go around, come back down the house, I'm like, oh, Hulk Hogan's house again, right? So now we get down to the end of the street, and my friend Chris goes, what do you want to do now? I'm like, let's drive by it again, right? And Peter goes, why? We've already driven by it. This kind of feels like stalking. We shouldn't. I'm like, we're just driving by the house. That's a main road, public road. So now we drive by again. So we turn around, we drive by again. As we drive by, the 4x4 pulls out and is going and goes by us, and you can see the mustache. It's Hulk. It's Hulk. So now I'm like... So now I'm like, right? So I'm like, turn around, Chris, turn around. We gotta follow him. We gotta follow him. Now Peter in the back seat's like, okay, there's one thing about driving by his house. Now we are following him. And I'm like, yes, we are. Chris, speed up, right? So now we're following, and I can hear Peter in the back going, dude, what are we doing? Right? And then totally crazy land. I look at him and I go, if he gets on the highway and he goes to Miami, we're going to Miami. And my friend Peter just looked at me, and my friend Allie in the backseat goes, he's serious. We'll probably end up doing that. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, follow him. So now we're in like a very residential neighborhood. My friend kind of loses him. And I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, this isn't like Law and Order where we can call in backups, right? It's just us, right? So we get to the main road. Look right, no hope. Look left, way up there. There's the truck. And I'm like, oh, right? So now I'm like, catch up, right? So we pull up. Now we're behind him. Now we're locked, okay? So we're going, and we're like, where's he gonna go? Like, how? Like, I'm like, well, we're meeting him now. We just have to stay behind him wherever he goes. And I kick in with my whole Miami thing. If he goes to Miami, we're going to Miami. We have to reschedule our flights, right? I'm doing the whole routine. Next thing you know, he pulls into a convenience store. And I'm like, oh, right? So I jump out. The car barely stopped. I jumped out. He's still in the truck. I did the fake wait, like,
I'm going to get the
wait.
door. Come on.
We could hang out, Gino. So I'm like, okay. So I hold the door. He looks at me, goes, and I go, hey, do you think there's any chance I could get a photo?
That's awesome.
And he goes, no problem, brother. He goes, no problem, brother. I just gotta get a coffee. I'm like, oh, no, that's okay. Right? I felt like saying, we've been tailing you for... I can wait for you to get the coffee.
Yeah.
I mean,
we were going to go to Miami.
Yeah,
I actually might follow you and get a coffee myself.
Yeah, we're at the so yeah. So then he gets his coffee, and I posted a cool picture of me and Hope, and then after that, the four of us were standing there, and not that I've ever robbed a bank or anything like that, right? But like Ocean's 11 and all that, we literally pulled over and we're standing at a beach, and there was the four of us looking out. And it felt like we just, like even Peter was like.
That's one of the best scenes at the end of that movie.
Yeah. We were standing there, and I was like, we pulled that off. We just robbed the casino. Like it had that kind of like thrilling vibe, and it was so stupid.
No, did they all get a picture with him?
No, just me.
Just you. That's right.
No, awesome. No, Peter didn't even get out of the car. He was like, right? It was just me.
You got it.
I got the picture. My friend Allie got out. Chris stayed in the car. Peter definitely stayed in the car. And yeah. Is that great?
It's one of my favorite stories you've
but
ever told me.
It all starts with me, I wouldn't say scamming tickets, but when I got the Tampa Bay tickets, I felt like it was a scam because I kind of, 25 minutes early, kind of got in. But I will admit this, I love scamming.
I think it's a forward thinker. I don't know.
Yeah. Fine line.
Yeah.
Fine line. All right. I'll tell you. Sorry, I know you don't know this one. So, this is a dated story. So, Reggie Lewis, right? They're retiring his number. Okay, they're going to raise his number to the rafters. So back then, I used to work for a wireless company, and this is how old this story is. They would pay 2 employees to go to the Celtics game with bag phones. Remember the phones with the handle, right? Yeah. The bag phone. And they would tell all the season ticket holders on the 100 level, the lower level, that you can tell the company. So like if a babysitter needed to get in touch with somebody, because no one had cell phones at the time.
Right.
Okay. So if someone needed to get in touch with somebody, they could call one of these bag phones, and they would just say what seat they're in, and then I would take the bag phone, walk over to you and say, oh, your babysitter's on the phone. Okay? So no cell phones. There was like this perk of being a season ticket holder, and you could bring the phone over. So there's the setup. So it's me and this guy, Peter. Okay? So what also was weird is that you got really good seats for the game, like second row. It's bizarro. Okay? Bizarre. Old Boston Garden, right? So we're sitting there. Now it's Reggie Lewis' number thing. And halftime comes. And they're going to do the thing. Larry Bird's there. Red Auerbach's there. David Stern, the whole thing. And there was some commotion, like the photographers or the writers, the photographers. And I just looked at Peter and I go, walk out with me. I'm walking on the court.
Is this the same Peter?
Different Peter.
Oh, different Peter.
That's
okay.
good.
Yeah, I thought it was
I
the
just
same
want to
Peter.
make sure.
Good clarification.
All right.
Good clarification. This is Peter Greenberg. So Peter, who worked with me at the time, I looked at him and I'm like, what? He's like, what? And I go, walk out with me. Now think about that. Boston Garden, Reggie Lewis, Red Auerbach, Larry Bird, they're all there, ML Carr. And I just walked out to half court.
Act like you know what you're doing. Yeah.
Just be confident.
Yeah.
Just be confident.
Who's going to stop you?
Right.
And if they do, you just...
Now, do you have the bag phones or not? On the shoulder.
That's a really good question. I think I left the
just
back
wa-
phones.
I'm just
No.
wondering.
I think
oh, that's a good question.
that's
I was
a
thinking
really
the
good
same
question.
thing, yeah.
I think I left the back phones. I think I took the risk and left the back. Let me get back to that question in a second.
We'll watch the footage. We'll pull the game up.
Okay.
Is there footage of it? Oh, we're finding the footage. We're playing the footage.
Hold on. So we walk out. Peter's not for this. I tell him, let's go. So next thing you know, the ceremony starts. And I'm standing at half court. And honestly, it was the coolest thing ever. Like standing at half court of the Boston Garden. It's the most bizarre thing ever. They do all the speeches, standing there watching the speeches. So then, if you've ever seen one of these, they do the speeches here, and then they walk over here, and then they raise the number to the rafters. So they start moving over. I hear Peter go, "Okay, let's get off." I'm like, "No, we gotta help raise the banner." So we walk over. Now I'm standing at the foul line, and they raise the banner. I'm like, "This is the coolest thing ever." Okay.
This is insane.
So now we're standing there, and Peter says to me, "We could get in trouble." I go, what are you talking
It's
about?
already done.
No one's going to see us. What are we talking about? Right? No lie. We go walking off. All of a sudden I hear someone, Mike, like in the stands. Mike, someone I work with. So now I'm like, Peter turns gray, and I'm like, right? So now, once again, I feel like I'm in a movie. Now I have to take care of things, right? So I go up. I'm like, hey, you never saw me. I didn't do that. I just want to make sure we're getting paid tonight to do the bag phone thing. I probably shouldn't have been on the court. Okay. So now
You related to my buddy Sweetie.
I go to work. I go to work the next day.
Oh my God.
Okay. Feeling pretty proud, but I'm not going to tell anyone the story. Okay. This is how old this story is. Pre-internet, everything else. Guy comes up to me, who I work with. He goes, dude, were you on the middle of the floor for the Reggie Lewis thing? And I just looked at him. I go, I'm thinking the guy that I told don't talk has sold me out. And I go, I forget. Did so-and-so tell you that? He's like, no, you're on the Boston Globe.
No way.
I'm like, what?
Front page.
Front of the sports page. There's Reggie Lewis's wife raising the thing. And what I didn't realize is that I have this massive white shirt on. And Peter's got a white shirt on. Yeah. So you see, and there's white shirts. And there's me. Peter's got his back, and there's me standing there. We're talking. And I'll be honest with you, I was like, I'm going to lose my job. So I said, where did you see this? He's like, Boston Globe. And he shows me the paper. Now, back in the day, pre-internet, in the cafeteria, they would sell newspapers. So immediately, once again, I'm like, I got to take care of this. So I run down to the cafeteria. I buy 30 newspapers. I buy all the newspapers in the cafeteria. Because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, if I buy all the newspapers, no one's going to find out. Like, that's how brilliant my mind is working. Yep. So I buy all the newspapers. I go to my car, shove them in the car, run back in. 2 hours later, head of marketing goes, I don't even know this guy. He goes, hey, Mike, do you have a minute? I go, I do. I do. I'm like, and it was the slowest walk. I started walking. I was like, and I sat down in his office. He goes, so I got a paper delivered to me every day. I'm like, oh my God. I didn't realize that if you're like an executive, you get your own paper. You don't buy your paper. I should have like ran around to people's offices, right? And he's like, what are you doing on the court? And I'm like, I wanted to say it was Peter's idea, but I I could not. That was my first thought. I'm like, I can't say that. And I was like, hey, you ever have a moment where you just feel like there's an opportunity to seize that moment? And I started talking like one of those
like
people,
Eminem.
like a trail. Yeah. Like a trailer for a movie. I'm like, we were sitting there, and there was a moment, and I just had to seize that moment. I'll never have that moment again. And I walked out there. And I'm telling you, it was the most brilliant. And I was even like, what am I doing right now? And then he's like, that's amazing, man. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, all right, I just wanted to touch base because people are talking about it. I'm like, okay, all right, hey. And then I just ran back, and I didn't lose my job. And
And now you have dirty copies of you in the
So
book.
I've told that story a few times, okay? One time I told that story to this guy, Sean, friend of mine. He comes up to me like a week later, and he goes, hey, man, it's a good thing you weren't, like, faking that story. I go, what story? He goes, the Reggie Lewis one. I go, what do you mean? He goes, I watched it on YouTube. I'm like, what?
It's on YouTube.
Yeah. And there you see me and Peter walk out. You see me and Peter. You see me and Peter walk out. And then later on,
walk off.
There I am on the foul line. It's the craziest thing. So thank God I didn't like embellish. Like, because the guy would have totally been like, you're not in that video.
Yeah.
I have a buddy I grew up with playing hockey and still friends with him to this day. He had like a media pass, like a fake one. And he got on the field. Red Sox win the World Series.
Oh my God.
He was in dugouts. He was in He's gone all sorts of places. Super Bowls, World Series. He's been on the field.
Oh my God,
it's
that's my hero.
Yeah,
Fake media pass.
yeah, and he had pictures on Facebook too. I'm like,
I will agree with you though when you said it's just about having confidence. You
Yeah.
know, I'm a huge Providence College basketball fan. You have no idea. Rick Pitino one time. I yelled at Rick Pitino so much one time. Providence Journal wrote after the game in the press conference. Rick Pitino said, because he used to coach at Providence.
Yeah.
And he said, I love all people in Rhode Island. There might be two people I don't like, and one of them was sitting behind me tonight. And I'm like,
who wrote it? Mike.
That was you.
Mark Driver? What's his name that writes for the Providence down there?
oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I forget.
Jim Donaldson, I think, was on one time. So huge. So Providence College is playing in the Big East tournament. Big East tournament's always in Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm telling the story. It's just a stupid story. So,
Fuck Pitino.
so absolutely,
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck Pitino.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't. Yeah, we could go way. we could
that'll
go
take us
way
right
off.
off the
We
rails.
could go way off here, but I won't. Big East tournament. I drive down by myself. My friend Roger lives in New York City. So I'm like, Roger, let's go to the Big East tournament. I don't have tickets. It's an old story. No internet, all that. Scalpers outside, physical tickets, not digital tickets, right? So I'm like, we'll go. There's always scalpers. Now, Big East tournament, if you haven't been, there's 2 games in the afternoon, 2 games at night. So 1 ticket gets you 2 games. Okay. Providence is playing in the second game of the first of the afternoon session, right? So I'm like, we can wait this out. Tickets are so much money. I mean, they were crazy because it was good games. And I was like, I just drove like 4.5 hours to get here. Roger's here. I'm like, dude, I'm not paying. I just can't pay this much money. I said, let's wait this out a little bit, right? So we wait. I knew the game had already started. I'm like, oy, right? So now, back in the day, they don't have this anymore. But in Madison Square Garden, there was this restaurant. And it was like, I'll say inside Madison Square Garden. So here's Madison Square Garden. So it was inside. But it wasn't inside. Like you could get to the restaurant without a ticket. So I'm like, let's go in this restaurant. We'll watch the first game together. And let's see what happens, right? So we watched the first game. And I noticed there was an escalator. And then at the halftime of the first game, people started walking in. So I looked at Roger. I go, Roger, let's stand in the area and just ask if anyone's not going back. He's like, what? I said, ask if anyone's not going back or they have an extra ticket. I was like, let's just be that guy, right? So I said, split up. So Roger's over there. Now, I wasn't expecting how many people. I mean, there was a lot of people. And I'm literally standing there like, anybody not going back? Anybody not going back? Anybody not going back, right? This guy with a suit comes up, and he looks at me, and he goes, what are you asking? I was like, it even sounded foolish coming out of my mouth. I'm like, just asking if anybody's not going back to the game. And he goes, well, just go up the escalator. I go, well, yeah, I would do that if I had a ticket. I said, you need an escalator. You need a ticket to go up the escalator. He looks at me and goes, what do you mean? I go, did you just walk out of Madison Square Garden without your ticket? He goes, oh my God, my tickets are in my coat. I'm like, well, you need a ticket to get back up that escalator. And he's like, oh my God. So this guy turns and starts walking away from me. And immediately I'm like, I cannot do it at the same level. I'm like, Roger, right? There's so many people. All of a sudden, Roger pops up. I just looked at Roger and go, do not say a word. Do not say a word. Right? So now, guy with the suit, me, Roger, we're walking. The guy doesn't know I'm trailing him, okay? He walks up. He starts talking to the security guard. He goes, I didn't realize what I did. I just walked out. I left my ticket in my coat. And as soon as he said that, I put my arm around him. And I go, can you believe we did that? And in slow motion, this guy, who I do not know, he looks at me, and he looks back, and he goes, can you believe we did that? And then the security guy goes, look, I'm not supposed to do this, but, go in. So now we're on the escalator, going up. That's the guy, there's me, and there's Roger. And I hear Roger going, how are we going in? How is this happening? Like, he has no idea what's going on. Yeah. And the guy in front of me turns around the escalator and goes, you have the biggest balls of anyone I've ever met. I go, yes, I do. And he goes, you don't even have a ticket. The place is sold out. Where are you going to sit? I'm like, don't worry about that. I got this covered. So we go in, and Roger's like, where are we going to sit? I'm like, this is easy. I said, we just have to mill around for the first game. I said, second game? Watch what happens. So what happens is the bands play behind, they give tickets to the bands.
Oh, the bands move. Right.
The bands are young kids who, when their game is over, guess what? They're in New York City. They're going to leave. We sat 4 seats off the floor for the whole game.
That's incredible.
For free.
It's awesome. Put the arm around him.
I will say, I took that suit thing. I'm just telling stupid stories here. So my friend Bill, huge baseball fan, huge, wanted to go to the Baseball Writers Association dinner, which I didn't even know that was a thing. This was like when Pedro was going to be there and some other players. So Bill calls me, he goes, look, I don't want to pay that much. You're the best scammer I know. Do you think you can get me in? And I'm like, wear a suit. Because I'm thinking, look the part.
Look the part.
Wear a suit. It was at the Copley Marriott in Boston. I'm like, wear a suit?
100%. You wear a suit, you're walking around, then you're in.
Yes. That's what I thought.
Okay.
So
you might need a credential.
Tickets were big money, a lot of security. So I get there, I'm looking for a door. I'm like, I don't think we're going to get in. So, and I knew it was like dinner. It was like something before dinner and then speeches, right? So I said to my friend, I'm like, oh yeah, I got a bad feeling about this. I'm not sure we're going to get in. I think this might be hitting my superpowers. So I'm like, let's go to the food court. Let's reset. I said, hang out for a little bit. We'll come back. Maybe someone won't be guarding a door, and we'll somehow figure out a way to get in. Go to the food court, half hour, 20 minutes. Come back, locked up. So now I'm standing in this big hallway over here, and there's a coat check room over here. All of a sudden, I see this guy with his kid go over to the coat check, and I looked at Bill. I go, don't move. Like, go walking over. And I stand behind the guy getting his coat, and I look at him. I go, you leaving? He goes, yeah, there's a guy at my table that's so drunk. We haven't even started eating dinner yet, and we just had salad, and it's just so uncomfortable, and I don't feel comfortable having my son here at this thing. I go, wow, that's crazy. I said, let me ask you, what table are you at? And he's like, 9. I was like, I'm at 27. I'm way in the back. I'm in the way back of the room. And then he just looked at me and said, so I let like 30 seconds go by. I go, hey, is there any way we could like exchange tickets? So that I could maybe take your spot closer up? And he looks right at me and he goes, dude, I don't need your tickets. Just take mine. So
he's wow.
I grab the tickets, and then he leaves. I'm standing in front of the coat check girl, and she's like, what coat? I'm like, I don't even have a coat. So then I looked at my friend Bill. I'm like, and we go in, we sit at this table. There's a guy so drunk, like crazy drunk, sitting right there. And I just asked for a new knife and fork. And we had prime rib dinner. we had.
Did you dust the water glass out?
we had dinner. We watched this. We were so close. It was ridiculous. But
that is epic.
It's just,
you know what?
Those are 3 incredible fucking stories.
Well, he's got a better one that I know of seat scamming.
I mean, I thought it was
the Celtics game, but I think it's a testament to just throwing out to the universe what you want, and the universe will respond.
I thought it was cool sneaking in with WWE event. It was like on a Monday night. It was like close to the public. It was one of those like whatever. We were out at Pittsburgh for a tournament, and they were playing at the Pittsburgh Arena, whatever it's called, right? So they had the meeting there the night before, and they had a wrestling event in the stadium. So same thing. My buddy Sweeney, he's always scamming. Boom, boom. So we come out of this meeting. He's like, hang on. And I'm like, what? He's like, we got to go in there. I'm like, how? I was like, we don't. He's like, come on. Walk right up to the security guard. Hey, how's it going? Walked right in.
Really?
Yeah. Just gave him the, hey, where's the, it's over here. Right in.
I'm telling you, if you have confidence.
Johnny O'Brien and I,
we
were down in New York City visiting his friend Ponte. He had a game in Hershey, and then we had a night off, and then we had a game in Washington, D.C. for the Chesapeake Icebreakers, or whatever they were. We go to New York to stay for the night and have some fun. It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
The only place that is kind of open is the China Room. Super exclusive, right?
Yeah, very fancy.
And we're talking back
in the
late
day.
90s, early. It was like $75 to get in if you weren't on the list. So we went there, and of course they're all saying, "You're never going to get in." Like Ponte, I got to get up for work the next day. Go ahead. So we go down there. Yeah. We walk in, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" They're like, "Oh, how you doing?" I go, "Yeah, we're on the list." And he goes, "What list?" I go, "The fucking list you're right there in front of you." And he goes, "Well, I go, "Now you're going to have the balls to ask my name that you pretend there's no list?" And I'm on that list, and you're gonna treat me that way? And the guy's like, "Whoa, sorry, man. I the last few people had tickets, and I go, well, I'd appreciate it if you just next time treat me with a little respect, huh?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, man, I'm sorry. Go right ahead." And we walk in, and Johnny's like, "What the fuck?" I go, "I told you we were getting in," and there you go. So it's just a matter of like, doing what you do.
It's. I mean, both of those stories. Yeah. It's just having one time I was not sports related. I was in San Diego, and there was this club that had music, and it was a private party. It was like some corporate. It wasn't corporate. It was like some private party. I think it was someone's birthday, and I could see they had the list. So I get in line, and I'm obviously not on the list, and I'm like, huh. So there's 2 girls in front of me. There's 2 girls in front of me, and then there was one guy alone in front of them. So when that guy went right up to say his name, I looked at the guy behind me. I'm like, "Hey, can you just hold my spot for 1 second?" And I walked up right next to him. And the guy's like, "My name's Rob James." I'm like, Rob James. Okay. And they let him in. So it gets to me. I'm like, "Rob James?" And they're like, You're already in. Are you not checking IDs? Right? And the guy's like, "No, we're just asking the names. This is a private party. Rob James is already in here." I was like, "Somebody just scammed you."
I'm Rob James.
"I am Rob James." And the guy looked right at me and goes, "I'm so sorry." And he goes, So next thing I went, all you could eat, drink. It was the craziest party. And I didn't know who Rob, I mean, I knew him, but I stayed away from him. Like, I don't need to hang out with.
All of a sudden you see him escorted out?
I don't need.
Mr. James, you have to come with us.
There he is.
What are you talking about?
There he is.
Oh my God.
But anyways, I thought of that when you said. So the other story you were hinting to. So Jan, I go to a Celtics game, and tickets last row, literally.
Nosebleeds.
Can stand up. No one cares, right? Back against the wall. So I'm like, and I'm with my 2 brother-in-laws and a friend. So I was like the whole first half. I'm like, oh, it's good. We're so far away. I'm like, I want to scam. We can get lower, right? So I take my phone out and I zoom in. And I'm like, okay, there's 4 seats there. There's 4 seats really close, right off the floor. And I'm like, okay, girl with the yellow sweater, guy with the green shirt, guy with the black shirt, girl with the yellow sweater. And I'm like repeating this in my mind because I know when I get down there, I could be disoriented.
You're just going to walk right to the seats.
I'm going to walk to the seats.
Yeah.
Got to be confident, right? So I'm like, girl with the red thing. So now, with 2 minutes to go in the half, I look at my brother-in-law and I go, hey, I found 4 seats. They're really good seats. Why don't we go there? And my wife's brother is like, no, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable with that. I'm like, yeah, we're going. Just follow me.
Feel comfortable.
Feel comfortable. We're going. I'm the captain. Right?
The worst is going to happen.
What's the worst that's going to happen? Right? We get down there and it doesn't work.
Right. So
we go down. All of a sudden, and once again, like I knew it was going to have that feeling, like, whoa, this is weird, right? Black shirt,
boom,
and there's 4 people sitting in my seats.
My seats.
And I looked at them, and I hear my brother-in-law go, let's go back up before the half starts. We can see the second half. And I just looked at him, and I go. So I looked up at the scoreboard, and I go, wow, we have missed a good first half. Hey guys, we got caught in traffic. We missed the whole first half. I'm really sorry, man. We got these seats. And all 4 of them go like this. And they got up and left. And then I sat down, and I'll never forget. My brother-in-law turns to me and goes, who did my sister marry? And I'm like, someone who just got you really good seats. Yeah. And he's like, what would have happened? What would have happened if they said they were their seats? I said, well, I would have called for an usher. I said because I knew it wasn't their seats. Right. I know a scammer. No, there's no way. And he's like, oh my God, thank God that didn't happen. I'm like, yeah. And we sat there, and then I looked at him and said, here's the one rule: you can't get up.
Yeah.
Because once you get up, you cannot get
Can't
back.
come back. Yeah.
So, anyways, there's my Celtics story.
You're in my seats.
Did you hang out with my Uncle Aldo? Jesus, yeah. He's always pulling shit out. Like
really?
Oh yeah, like the receipt in his mouth. Maybe acquire a couple of things from some grocery stores.
Oh, he acquires a good amount. If it's not nailed down, it's going home.
Fucking
ruthless. I don't do that.
No. Yeah, well, Aldo's we talk about him
a
lot.
He's a klepto. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's got issues.
No. I just sneak in.
I love him though.
Now, the Albert Bell story.
Yeah, so Albert Bell. Do you remember Albert Bell? Joey Bell, I think was his nickname. Albert Bell. He played for the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So
smashed home runs.
So he also might have almost smashed something else too. So he namely me. so Albert Bell on Halloween one year. I don't know if you know the story. I told you, but on Halloween, he had trick-or-treaters come to his house, and I guess his father. No one has told the story probably in so many years, and here I am. So his father answered the door and told the trick-or-treaters go away. Trick-or-treaters go get eggs, egg Albert Bell's house. Albert Bell comes out of his house, gets in his car, and tries to run the kids over. Calls 911 and says, "You better get here. I'm going to try to kill these kids."
Like death.
Like lost his mind over his house being egged.
Just holds it down, bro.
On Halloween. Okay? So that happened October 31st. Fast forward to the next baseball season. I go to the Red Sox game. I literally am sitting in the front row. Front row, three of my friends, front row. And we are sitting literally right in front, back in the day, where what do they call it?
On deck.
On deck. There you go, yeah.
Literally right in front of the on deck circle. So I don't tell my friends. All of a sudden, Albert Bell comes out. And he swings. And then I knew my plan. I knew my plan for the entire day. So he comes out, and I'm just like, M&M's, right? I'm just screaming candies, right? Snickers, right? And I don't think people around me really knew what I was yelling, but Albert did.
So fucking
Okay. And I still remember like almost running out of candies. Naming them like Smarties. Like I was like, I had nothing, right?
Necco wafers.
Yeah, Necco wafers. Yeah, right. Neckos. So he goes up like this 4 times, right? And every time, just candy after candy after candy. And the people around me, the fans, I would say they were on my side. Okay? They thought it was funny, right? Until tie game. Tie game. Like the 8th inning, Albert comes on the on-deck circle. And I'm like, pieces. Right? I'm still screaming candies. And at one point, this is the only time he acknowledged me up until this point, he put his bat down and he just looked up at me. And it didn't stop me. I just yelled another candy, right? So now, I'll never forget my friend's like,
there was netting there, right?
He's no
netting.
No netting at this time. So I'm like, oh, okay. He's not happy, right? He hit the ball so far out of Fenway Park to win the game. Like, I mean crazy land home run. No exaggeration. People start booing me. People start throwing stuff at me, saying that I cost the Red Sox the game. As I'm watching Albert Bell run around the bases, he hits home plate, he goes running, and when he hits home plate, he turns, and he points to me at home plate. And the whole time he's running into the dugout, he's just pointing at me. And then people became enraged.
Is this before? This is obviously before all the World Series and everything, right?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. People
yes.
are fucking the temperature in that ballpark. You can explode.
People were not happy.
No.
Right. And I looked at my friend. I'm like, I think we need to leave. I think we need to get out of here. I know the Red Sox are going to bat in the 9th, but this is getting weird. And then I left. And then the next day on ESPN, they're watching the highlights. No lie, watching the highlights. And literally, it was just such a small thing. The guy goes, yeah, and the Cleveland Indians beat the Red Sox, and Albert Bell pointed to somebody in the stands. And I'm like, and I remember being so proud. I was like, that is me. I'm the guy. I'm the guy that had him enraged. He settled out of court with the kids. Like, one of the kids sued him for like a lot of money.
Really?
For like mental anguish, for being chased
almost
in
run
a car.
over.
Yeah.
You threw the eggs, kid.
And they chased.
Like, I would expect to get chased.
In a car?
So that's
yeah.
spoken like a true Southern
I think
kid.
I did get chased in a car. Yeah.
I mean, how many of us didn't whip
Like, if you
snowballs
didn't
at
expect
trucks
to
and
get
stuff?
chased, then what the fuck you throwing eggs for?
Right?
I
Same
guess,
thing with
I guess,
snowballs
I
at
guess.
cars. It's the same thing. One of them's going to stop, and, you know, he might be in loafers. And he might chase you for, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 streets through neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah.
What I love about that, just saying, it was I was
just
going
tossing
for
that out there.
I was going for the truck and I missed, and that guy was pissed, and I'm sure his day was ruined because those loafers couldn't withstand a foot of snow. What I love about that though is you did it in such an obscure way, not hey trick or treat, Albert Bell, trick or treat, just yelling candies.
Yes,
and he knew. I bet it took him 2 at bats to go, this fucking guy's talking about the candy, the trick-or-treating.
Oh, as soon as you yelled out the first one, he knew exactly what you were talking about.
That is so
There's no
brilliant.
question.
Oh, yeah.
He knew
So
exactly.
brilliant.
I mean, 4 at-bats where I just kept yelling candies. It was so awesome.
Oh, that's fucking fun.
Best.
I was so proud of myself.
That's excellent.
That is the fucking best.
I tell you one more. I was just sitting here thinking, this has got nothing to do with sports.
That doesn't matter.
So
We're having fun.
I'm in Boston with my friend Chris. Different Chris than I was in Tampa with the Hulk Hogan. So my friend Chris, I was young at a bar driving home. we see all these lights on, and I like Boston Common. So I'm like, hey, let's pull over. Wonder what's going on here. Now, literally, it's probably like 1:30 in the morning, okay? So we pull over, and we go up, and there's a whole movie set. Like they're filming a movie, like a real movie. And I'm like, whoa, security everywhere, right? Security here. So I said to my friend Chris, I'm like, oh, hey, let's walk down the street, and let's see if there's security over there. So we walk down, more security. So we walk back. When we walk back, security guy wasn't paying attention. So I look at my friend Chris, I go, roll up your sleeves. He goes, what? I go, roll up your sleeves. He goes, what are you talking about? I go, it's a summer shot. Look at all the people, they're dressed like it's summer. Roll up your sleeves. I'm like, just follow me, act confident. So I walk onto the set, right? And now I'm with all these people. And then I looked at my friend's tall like I am, so I looked at him and said, let's split up. Split up with us, not draw attention to ourselves, right? So we're standing there, and we're waiting. And you know how you always hear that, like, on movies, it takes so long, and it was so long. I almost complained. I'm like, I'm like, can we get on with this? Like, what's happening here, right? So it took forever. And next thing you know, this producer guy with the headset on comes up. He gathers all the people. Hey, everybody, come up. So there's me, and there's my friend Chris over there. I'm looking at him. And he goes, hey, so here's the scene. Forrest Whitaker is going to run down that street. All right? Jeff Bridges is over there. And I'm like, so
Legit.
Yeah. He's like, when you see Forrest Whitaker run down, when you physically see him, I need you to act like there's a bomb that went off. Okay? And I'm like, okay. Right? So now everybody lines up, right? And there were these cars parked. I'll never forget, there was these cars parked. All of a sudden the cars go on. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then, just like the movies, you hear, quiet on the set, quiet on the set, quiet on the set. Action. They say action. Everyone starts walking. I'm walking down the street, right? I'm walking. Next thing you know, I see Forrest Whitaker. My first thought was, oh my God, that's Forrest Whitaker, right? So I see Forrest Whitaker, and I could pass a lie detector on this. When I saw Forrest Whitaker, my first thought was, oh my God, that's Forrest Whitaker. My second thought was, oh my God, I think there's a bomb going off. Because the people around me were so like, oh my God, there's a bomb. Like, it scared me. Like, I was like, I didn't even have to act. I was like, oh my God, there's a bomb. Right? I mean, it was unbelievable. They were good extras, right? Good actors, right? And I was like, oh my God. Right? So we get done the scene, and they're like, okay, set up again. We got to film it again. Set it up. I'm like, okay, all right.
Now I'm ready.
Oh, now I'm ready. Now I know, right? So we set up. It takes forever. They're moving some lights. Quiet on the set, quiet on the set, quiet on the set. I'm like, oh, action, action. Walking down. See Forrest Whitaker. Now I'm like, bomb, right? I'm literally like, oh my God, right? We did it 4 times. Then this director guy comes over and goes, all right, hey, we need 4 people to shoot a little bit different scene. Why don't we take you? And he points to me and my friend. And I'm like,
No way.
Not only have we snuck on the set, now we're getting asked to do a different scene. Okay? So now this scene is we're running. Like, when we see Forrest, we have to run. We don't have to act. We just have to run. So there's me and my buddy, like, and it's like 3:45 in the morning, okay? And we're running out. I'm like, this is the craziest night ever. This is the wackiest thing. So now we do that twice, and then they come back, and they're like, all right, hey, we're going to take a break. So we're going to take like a half-hour break, and then we'll start up. And I turn to the guy next to me, and I go, where's, like, the break room? Like, oh, it's in the basement of this church. I'm like, okay. So next thing you know, I'm in the basement of the church, having a donut, just hanging out.
You say, where's the coffee and the donuts?
Hanging out with all these extras. I don't see my friend. I walk out. My friend's having a cigarette with Forrest Whitaker, sitting next to this thing, and I'm like,
What the?
seriously.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then Jeff Bridges, who wasn't in any of our scenes, they're filming on the common. They're filming a scene with Jeff Bridges, and he's with this woman, and they're like walking in a circle the way they're filming it. I watched that for like another 45 minutes. I looked to my friend. I'm like, I think our job's done tonight. We should go home, right? So we go home, and I was like, and this is like pre-cell phones. Like if I had pictures, your mind would be blown, right? So next day, I'm on Newbury Street around 5 o'clock. I'm walking down Newbury Street. All of a sudden, this guy walks by me, and I'm like, I turn. I go walk next to him. I go, hey, Jeff, how's it going? And Jeff Bridges. Yeah, Jeff Bridges looks at me and goes, and he had the classic, like the hat and the sunglasses. Yep. But I was hanging out with him only so many hours ago, right? So I go, hey, Jeff, how's it going? He looks at me and goes, hey. And I said, I was in your movie last night. And he looks at me and he goes, you're one of the extras? I go, yeah. Yeah, you could say that. I was an extra, right? And extra. And I was like, oh, I said, a really good scene. I said, I was in the bomb scene. And we talked the whole length of Newbury Street about him being in Boston, where he was staying in the hotel, blah, blah, blah. At the end, he's like, hey, do you have another movie lined up? I go, not yet, man. I'm in between stuff.
In between stuff.
and I shook his hand. And then the movie came out. It was called Blown Away. So old. No one saw it.
Incredible movie. Blown Away?
Blown Away.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Boston movie. We always watch the ones that set in Boston.
That's
a great movie.
Blown Away, yeah.
So it came out, and I still remember, like, pausing, like, the bomb scene. I'm, like, pausing on my TV. You can't see me. I mean, the ending would be like, oh, my God, and there I am. I'm not in the movie.
It's fucking awesome, though.
I didn't make the cut. But is that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah. Well, whenever you're an extra, I've been an extra a couple times. Like the Game Plan with The Rock. I mean, everyone was an extra in that movie, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
But I was in the scene where she has a crab thing, like a reaction to the crabs at, what's the place right there over in Seaport? The Crab Shack there.
The Crab Shack.
Is that what
Boston
it's called?
Crab Shack.
Yeah, Crab Shack. She has a relax. He runs across the bridge, saving her, right? Blah, blah, blah. And there's a double for The Rock who's carrying this girl. So, long story longer, there was a couple times where I know I'm in this movie based on where I was, based on the guy running. I'm on the cell phone, right? And, of course, in the movie, they shoot it from the helicopter. Like, no problem, whatever. But then I do the Boston Strangler movie with, what was the girl that played the reporter?
No idea.
Beautiful girl. I'm drawing a blank. I'm an extra in the movie, right? And what the hell was her name? She's right there though, right next to me. So action, same thing. Takes forever. Freezing our balls off. It was freezing. It was over near Fenway, and I walk right next to her, and they do that a couple times, and then we switch and we go. So now I'm outside the door, and the scene is she's coming in because they just found another body.
Yeah.
And everyone's supposed to be like trying to, check it out, right? And the one rule they tell you is never look at the camera. Okay. So Kate Winslet.
Oh, wow.
Is that Kate Winslet?
That's a big
was
name.
In that?
Yeah, that's a big name.
When the Boston Strangle.
Yeah.
So I think that was her. So she's walking in action, and I go like this. Right at the camera, right? So in the movie.
You can see you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I'm right there.
Awesome.
My face just turns to, like the one thing you're not supposed to do.
Oh, my God. That's fantastic.
So I'm in the Boston Strangler.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's a good
I think
profile.
it was Kate Winslet.
That's a good profile. That's a good profile picture.
That's going to bother me.
I got a buddy that's been an extra in a bunch of movies in Boston.
Really?
Yeah.
There's so many people that do it.
Yes.
And half the time, like you said, like Game Plan, I was there for, I don't know, 15 hours. And it's cool. Oh, I was in the Game Plan. No, you weren't.
Yeah.
But you were.
Yeah.
You were in there somewhere.
It's a credit.
I gotta look up who that was. The Boston Strangler movie, 2023. Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea. Boston Strangler cast. There we go. I know this is fascinating television. And now starring
Mark.
Oh shit, maybe this is the wrong one. Okay. I don't know. Anyway,
Kate
I think it was
Winslet.
Kate Winslet.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
go
gonna
with
go
that.
with Kate
Yeah.
Winslet.
All right.
But yeah,
That's when you dated Kate Winslet.
for about 4 minutes. I was walking next to her.
Extra.
So stupid. The amount of time that goes into costumes and shit.
When Kate Winslet was Kate Winslet.
Yes. yes.
Exactly. We'll loop it right back to Yahoo.
Yahoo, what a line. With Yahoo.
Oh, my God.
He was for fantasy sport and everything else. That's why I was just dying. It just kind of faded away. Yahoo
did.
Totally did.
It was gone.
I still look at it every now and then.
Oh, yeah.
I like the little five
Remember
stories.
What was the commercial? It was Yahoo.
Yeah.
Was that the one?
Yeah.
That was the commercial that stuck with me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. So let's talk about what's going on now. I think we've covered all your scam stories.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking delicious.
I wasn't even scheduled to be on this tonight.
No,
I
you just
came
walked
in.
He was like, who's our guest? Like, I'm not sure. I thought it was just us.
The real guest is waiting outside.
He's tied up in the trunk.
I found the sweatshirt, and I just came in.
We had Big Papi coming on, and Mike showed up.
We had Albert Bell.
Albert Bell should be happy that someone mentioned him today.
Yes.
Yeah.
So no one's mentioned
No
him.
one's mentioned him.
Since he tried to run over kids.
Yeah.
Reese's. I can just picture you with fucking candies. It's hilarious. So I know you're a big Patriots fan.
Huge.
Now, obviously, a lot of changes.
Yes.
Personally, I like them.
Do you listen to the Patriots.com?
Sometimes.
Do you know Mike Dussault? Listen to Mike
yeah.
Dussault?
Yeah,
that's my brother-in-law.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, he's really good.
Yeah, he's really good. Really good writer. Very good writer.
I was gonna say. I was just gonna say that. Really.
I
good
hate
writer.
reading. When I read his shit,
that's
I read
fantastic.
it. Yeah.
I agree, Mark. I think
Grable's great. I love Grable. I think
Vrabel. I said it wrong.
I might have gone to the last. Did you see my post? I went to the last game with a paper bag over my head, said "Fire Mayo." Yeah.
Do you think Mayo got kind of?
I did have one that said "Fire Wolf."
No,
too.
not at all.
Yeah, well,
he was not a leader. He was not a head coach.
I feel bad.
I do feel
for
bad.
Mayo.
He wasn't
I feel
ready.
bad
That's
for
the
Mayo.
problem.
I don't know if he was totally set up for success. With that said, they made no improvements. They had no identity. There was no, like, at the end, like, they're a tough team, they're this, they're that. I mean, it just wasn't. My biggest fear was Mayo comes back.
Yep.
Now what? Now what? Now you look at the cast that they have as coaches now, and there's Vrabel, and there's Josh is back.
Josh
right?
McDaniels is back.
I mean, it just, and that the Tyrell Williams, the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And then the offensive line coach who used to coach the Bills. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And then who was the guy that used to be like Bills, like guy who would Ernie Adams.
Ernie Adams.
So I don't know if you read
Vrabel got an Ernie Adams.
Vrabel has an Ernie Adams.
Yes,
right?
He does.
And that's why I do feel bad for Mayo because, like, I don't think Mayo had a Ernie Adams.
No.
I don't think Mayo had enough street cred to even become a head coach yet. I don't think he had enough time to, right?
He wasn't even calling plays.
No, like he you have to go through a lot. I mean, look how long Belichick has been a head coach or gone through all that stuff before he even started succeeding. It was probably about 20 years.
Yes.
Right? And
Well, he wasn't even the defensive coordinator.
Right.
Technically, he didn't have that title, right?
Yeah.
Right? So like he just kind of they just threw, hey, let's just see, because it's stuck in a couple other areas, right, with the former player and this and that. But I think he was too close to it and too close to the players, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I agree. I wonder, if he had the setup. My friend had an interesting comment to me. He goes, "Do you think anyone's going to hire Mayo at any position for next year?" And I was like, "Ooh."
Belichick might.
But if you really think about it,
right? No, good point.
I mean, we have 9 new coaches in the NFL. Out of those 9, are any calling Mayo to be defensive coordinator?
Linebacker coach.
Right? I mean, maybe he'll take the year off. I'm sure he's getting paid by the Patriots and all of that other stuff. But there isn't this,
no, you're right.
He'll get a job.
Yeah.
Like, I was shocked when Vrabel didn't get the job last year.
Me too.
Right? Which is good for us that he didn't and he came here. But I wish the season was starting.
I just hope they get Drake May weapons.
They will. They have to. They have no choice. First off, they gotta revamp that whole
whole
thing. Especially all you listen to is how bad that wide receiver room was. Right.
Yeah.
Well, you had guys that were number ones on the Patriots that would have been number fours on most any other team.
But you hope Josh McDaniels can get his paws in on those two rookies. Yeah. Maybe they flip the script. I mean, they do have the talent. I mean, they showed some type of potential in college. Right. Maybe they could get that translated and set. You know, especially with Josh McDaniels, I feel like he's probably the best coach, offensive coach, to get the best skill set results out of the players' skill sets. Yeah. I think he'll apply that.
And if they don't step up, they'll be gone.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think they'll be gone, and I think all the fans will be like, okay. Where this year, nothing against AVP, but even AVP hadn't really called plays before, right? You got a guy coming in. I heard Edelman talking the other day.
Yes.
And like just glowing about Josh.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I would hope. Now, at the same time, how many of those wide receivers are going to be back? I mean, Vrabel and Josh might look at the whole cast and go, let's upgrade.
Yeah.
And let's keep one or two, but let's upgrade.
Yeah, you got to upgrade those 1 and 2 positions and let those rookies be rookies, right? And come in, learn the system, get familiar with May, and do the right things. And you know what? Nobody does what Edelman does. No one puts in the work outside. They're hungry, but they're not. They got to be told to go do that, right? Like Edelman just went and fucking did it. And he came out on top because of it, right? Nobody does that in sports anymore because there's so much money already. They're already getting fucking paid, and it doesn't matter, right? Like, you don't have to get better. Like, refereeing, you don't have to get better to go work at any level because we're just putting people in when they're not ready anyway. Yep. So I felt like that was the case with Mayo. And another thing with him, I think if he had a supporting, kind of couple of head coaches in and around in those coordinator positions or someone overseeing them or looking and guiding them, you gotta search for guidance when you're in those leadership roles because you have to have good mentors because that just trickles down.
Yeah, I would hope that they just have a all-star coaching staff.
They do, I think.
It killed me that they won that last game. A little part of me died.
Me too.
I know.
I was at the game, and I got in the biggest fight with these two women behind me. Maybe not proud of that. She literally looked at me. She goes, because I was literally
cheering for them to lose. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where's the flag?
Right.
Where's the flag? Right?
Yeah.
And this woman behind
zebras.
me, woman behind me goes, you need to calm down. And I just went,
what a football game.
I'm like, well, you don't understand how football works. This could set us back another 2 years.
Right.
If we get this pick, we either take the pick or we could trade the pick. We need players. We need talent. We need to lose this game.
Assets.
I truly believe this. They should have fired Mayo the week before. If they did it so close after the game.
Yeah.
I like the special teams coach. I don't know if you've ever heard him
Joe
talk.
Judge?
No.
Who's the special teams?
I don't remember his name.
Oh, okay.
Really good though. When that Tavai made some bad comments about the fans and criticized the fans, the special teams coach came out and he's like, tickets are expensive. People come to the games.
Yeah, right.
We need to have a good product.
They can do what they want.
Yep.
They can do what they want.
Yeah.
It's a professional sport. He was mature, adult about it, and our special teams played pretty good this year.
Yeah.
Right? He's one of the only coaches that Vrabel is keeping.
Yeah, that's true.
Is the special teams. So I was thinking, should have fired Mayo, should have went to the special teams coach and said, you're the only one that's staying. This is like Survivor. You're staying. Lose the game. You're going to be head coach for one game. Lose the game. And you can never quote me.
You'd be the best 0-1 coach ever.
Yes, you'll be the favorite Patriots fans of all time.
Everyone will love you.
Yes, everyone will know your name, right? But yeah, that hurt. I just think though, if they can get some players and they can upgrade the offensive line, the nice part is we got our guy. I think Drake Mason.
I think he's the guy.
Definitely have.
Right, we got the guy.
Jeremy Springer.
Yes, that's his name.
Yes, that's the
not Jerry Springer.
Not Jerry Springer.
No, Jeremy
Whole
Springer.
different set of skill set right there. I think if they Drake May is the real deal.
Real deal.
I think if you put Drake, I honestly believe this. If you put Drake May on the Commanders, if you flip the two, right? I think Drake May does something similar with the Commanders with that.
Yes.
With the skill set of the skill positions in Washington. I think if you flip them, Drake May brings them to the NFC Championship game, just like.
Kid's a gamer. He's a winner. He got an arm.
What you were saying, I don't get the vibe from him that, now I've made it.
Right.
I already got my money.
I don't get that vibe at all. No.
I don't get that vibe from
I
him.
did with Mac Jones. I did. Like, I felt like, I don't know. I just felt like he just wasn't, I don't know.
He didn't have the killer instinct.
Yeah, I was going
in
to
him.
say, I think Drake May will step on your throat. I'm not sure Mac.
Right,
would
exactly.
step. I heard Kim English, the coach of Providence College. I don't know if I mentioned I'm a huge Providence College fan. So, coach of Providence College now, he played in the pros. And he played in the pros, I think, for 1 year. And I've heard him talk about it. And his whole mantra is like mindset. And he says that where he screwed up was his goal in life was to make the NBA. His goal wasn't to be a 5-time All-Star. His goal wasn't to play in the league for 10 years.
Right.
And when he made the NBA, like, I made it. And he didn't have that killer drive to get. And he played overseas for a couple of years, and then he went to coaching. I think he's 35 years old. He's head coach of the Providence College. He's one of the youngest coaches in the country. Really, really good. And he can talk to players like, hey, this is what you need to be.
Right.
And it doesn't end when you get your first paycheck as an NFL player.
Right.
You gotta have that killer instinct.
Right.
And I do think, like I've heard Drake May's brothers talk and kind of like remind you of Gronk. Like
Yes.
tough
Yeah.
brothers.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Right.
the whole thing. I remember hearing Zolak say, just tell me he drives a truck. That's all I want to know.
right.
Just tell me he drives a truck. And then they looked it up. He drives a truck that he got when he was 16. And Zolak's like, that's my guy. That's my quarterback. He drives a truck.
Yeah.
I'm with him.
But yeah, I just it would be so nice. Even if like just next year, if we could just see momentum. That's all I want. Just a little
I think
bit.
maybe
Vrabel
10
is
wins.
the guy. Like, even talking to Mike just real quick the other day, like, he was like, it's total different.
Really?
Like, it's total different vibe in the building.
Yes.
It's just, you just feel like we got some guys that know what the fuck they're doing.
Oh, that's
right?
awesome.
You know, and it's like,
Yep.
even like, he's like, Vrabel, he walked into their production meeting and just was
really?
Hey guys, you guys are just as part of this, like, whatever you guys need from us. Like, he couldn't have been nicer. Like,
Oh, wow.
and he didn't have to do that, right?
That's
just
very
like,
cool.
just little shit like that. I think it's already like, just everybody's kind of feeling it. So
Yeah. I mean,
awesome.
I haven't heard one person say anything negative.
Right.
No.
Right? I mean,
few people would say, McDaniels, we're going back to the past. But
I don't mind. I
look what
didn't mind
McDaniels
that.
did with Brady in that second half of the
look what he did
dynasty.
the year Jones. We had
Jones,
Jones
right?
for Christ's
Jones
sake.
made the
Like,
Pro
he
Bowl.
made- right?
Exactly.
Right? I mean,
So did May.
Exactly. Yeah, May just
Yeah,
got.
just got
yeah,
it.
that I
Yeah.
don't know if I agree with. I
No.
want to put Drake May in a bubble. I don't even want him going to the Pro Bowl. I
I'm
don't want
with
him
you.
tripping. I don't want him
Yeah.
I don't want anything. Just
Right.
put him
Yep.
in a bubble. Let him work out and let's get to next season.
Exactly.
When I heard that, I was like,
Yeah, I heard that today. And and when this is airing, it'll already be done. But
But I think Josh. I think they say that Josh took the year off and really studied college offenses and looking
Yeah.
for new things. And his assistants underneath him are Vrabel's guys, and they're like all West
Mm-hmm.
Coast offense, even though Josh isn't. So I got to think that he'll put together, even when he had Cam
when he had
Newton.
Randy Moss, when he was,
You got to
that
be
year when-
flexible. Like,
You
if you're
gotta-
not
like,
flexible in
like,
anything,
you
you're
change
gonna
things
if
based
you
on
can't be
who he had.
changing
Yeah,
for
I was like,
times.
Randy Moss is a great example. Cam Newton couldn't throw,
Yep.
and he had him, so they changed the offense, right?
Right.
But I just think when the chips are down, and you got Vrabel, and you got Josh, and you got people who've been there,
Right.
right?
Oh, yeah.
That's just
Huge. Huge.
that's-
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's an edge. Like, they didn't have that edge before. Like, when you go, okay, where's your edge? Like, in the coaching, they always lost that edge. Like, they never had that edge when they're playing another team. And how many games did they lose by like one fucking score, one possession, or one stupid penalty, or one just mental error? Like, you're not going to get those. So like, now you go from a 3 to 4 win season to maybe like a 6 to 9, 8 season, right? Like, I
And
don't
there
know.
was some cracks there, like when they went to London, there was somebody who stayed out late, and all the nonsense. It's like,
Right.
if you're gonna do that, just don't be on the team.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? You know, and even Mayo, when he called the team soft, I was okay with that.
I was fine.
Yeah.
And then what does he do? Next Monday, he's like walking it back, walking it
He
back.
walked it back every
Walking it
week.
back.
That's when I
Every
knew. I
time.
was like, well, you can't even
Walked
like
it back.
handle the media. You gotta
Yeah.
own what you say, stick up for your players, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, and take accountability. If you can't take accountability when you're in a leadership role like that, then
I mean, that's the one thing about Bill, and he wouldn't just talk. He'd just grumble and, just
Yeah.
But he didn't do that. He didn't walk back.
Never walk back.
We got to coach better. We got to play better. It's all threes. We got to play better
Never
on special
walk
teams,
back.
defense, offense.
On
I
a
mean, it was the same-
Cincinnati.
On
Yeah.
Cincinnati. It was always that same mantra. And I think Mayo thought he could like talk to the crowd.
Yeah. Be
And,
like
like,
everyone's
just-
friend. and
Like you
it
just said, it's a
didn't work.
mindset, right? Like Bill
Yeah.
had those guys with the mindset, and one thing was winning, right? We're not like, we're here for a good time too. But this is our fucking goal,
Yep.
not all the other shit. That
Well, that's like the people who criticize the Patriots for it not being fun. And I remember Edelman saying, "You know what's fun? Winning.
Yeah.
Winning's fun.
Winning's really fun.
That's what
you're here to
we're here to win."
study the book. You're here to be in shape, and you're here to execute.
Even the other day, so my wife's cousin, huge Buffalo Bills fan, huge, and
on a Buffalo.
and I will say,
that was the first down.
Yes,
it was.
It was a
The
first. down.
Super Bowl will already have happened.
Yes.
We're pre-Super Bowl taping this, right? And of course, depending on the NFL script, Mahomes might win his third.
I can't believe
but-
Kansas City won by 70.
I know we can give out predictions,
Yeah.
and when it is, people be like, "The fuck,
70
the game already happened." What are you talking
70
about?
to nothing.
Right.
Go Eagles.
All because
I've never cheered for a Philadia team.
Neither have
ever.
I.
No.
I think I might.
want the
I'm making
Eagles
my
to
piece.
win.
I'm rooting for Saquon Barkley. I like the story.
All right.
Great story.
I'm rooting
like
for,
that.
I'm rooting for
And
that.
I think he's going to run roughshod over them.
If Buffalo just
we
ran
still
the
say
fucking
that?
ball, they might
think
have
so.
been running against Philly.
Yeah,
like
well.
that whole first half, I'm like, run the fucking ball.
When they ran it, they
did all right. They had a pretty
did
fast
great.
guy in Cook, a little dump
Yeah.
off pass to him, get him
Yeah.
open,
Yeah,
get
yeah,
him in
yeah.
space. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he's phenomenal. Imagine being a Giants fan watching that.
Oh my God!
did you hear the was it the owner say you should? I don't want to see you trade Saquon or whatever. Saquon
Yeah.
off to the Eagles
Yep. And now he's
in the Super Bowl.
in the he's an NBA MVP finalist too,
Yeah, 1 of 5.
right?
Right.
It's crazy.
Phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
So athletic. That move where he jumped over the guy backwards. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Even the
they-
cuts in the snow the other day.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm rooting for Saquon because
Cool.
I
I
I'm
like
going to
that.
struggle rooting for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't mind Travis Kelce. I'm a Swiftie, so I don't mind that either.
I went to the rain show.
See, I'm a Swiftie.
Thanks to
I
Mike.
am. I'm
Mike hooked it
man
up.
enough to admit it. I'm a Swiftie,
That's cool.
but I can't fucking stand Kelsey. I just can't stand anyone on that team. They just annoy the fuck out of me. I don't know why.
I don't. It
They
doesn't
just
bother
do.
me that much. It doesn't bother me like the Canadians do, and like
Well,
like
what
the
bothers-
Yankees.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
yeah.
It doesn't bother
Here's
me
what
like that
bothers
because we
me.
beat them. You
Here's
know,
what-
like I don't
yeah.
know.
Here's what bothers me: the fact that they, a large percentage of their success this year has been because of officiating.
Bullshit.
Listen, Mahomes is good. I'm not going to say Mahomes isn't good. I'm not going to say Kelsey's not
You're
good.
gonna get on that
I'm not gonna
bandwagon and
say-
complain about referees?
He's
I'm not going to
he's
say
anti-ref.
Well, you know what? I'm anti-NFL ref.
Okay.
Because some of the calls that were made this year, I mean, from
That
the
out of bounds one where Mahomes was.
well, that is just. But
Well, I
they didn't
don't.
make
I
but
don't
those-
blame the referees though. I blame the fucking rule makers because I guarantee you they didn't play the fucking sport, and they're sitting in a room listening to all
Well,
these people who
yeah.
are mental safety and head trauma and
Well,
all this
someone-
kind of
someone
crap,
mentioned-
right? And protect the quarterback. So it's like.
Well, someone mentioned the other day, what if Marino played now? How fucking good would he be?
Yeah.
With the protection the quarterbacks
Yes,
get
yes,
now
yes,
and
yes.
everything.
Look at all
Or
the
any
hits
of
Brady
those guys.
took early in his career.
Brady got killed.
Brady-
Any
they
of those
showed
guys,
clips of Brady.
Elway, you could name a bunch of them
Yeah.
if they played now. And
Jim
that's
McMahon.
just,
Yeah.
Jim McMahon.
Crushed.
I mean, he's
Zolak,
a
no.
beast. But anyway, I know.
What's interesting on that first down thing? My first thought was, all right, I don't know what year is this coming out? 2025.
This is coming out in 2 weeks. 2025.
All right.
We're
I
in
was gonna say we're in
2025.
25. I didn't know if you were going to say it's coming out in 2027.
You'll
then I'd be
somehow
like,
get it to come out tomorrow. I don't know. Somehow it'll be like, how the hell is that episode already
It's already out. It's live right now.
Mike has
Your guest is waiting to come in. So in 2025, how do you not have technology that you could put a little chip on the end of that football, so when you know exactly where the ball went?
Well, they say the same thing about a puck too, right?
Yeah,
like, why
the
can't
net.
you put a laser across the goal line when the puck crosses? It's a fucking goal.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't.
We do
I mean,
have the technology.
We could shoot like a rocket and hit a stadium probably precisely.
Yeah.
You can't figure out to put a little chip.
Well, and that one was ridiculous because one ref ran and
Oh my God, they were like
definitely had the spot, right?
Yep.
And the other guy was literally a yard on the other way.
Yep.
And then they flipped the ball to that guy. What if they flipped it to the other guy? Like, he would have put it down, it would have been a first down.
I don't know how the mechanics of the officiating, but maybe that's the guy that has to get the ball. Maybe is like does he override, like a referee overrides a linesman? Like, does that override that?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'll tell a ref story. So last night, I don't know if I told you, I'm a huge Providence College basketball fan. And so I'm watching Providence College last night. They played Seton Hall at Seton Hall. Okay, they're up 15 in the second half. Right, they've had a tough year. Best player hurt, hasn't played. First team All Big East, hasn't played a game. Played a couple games. He's been out.
He'll be back for the tournament.
No, not back this year. So let that sink in. Yeah.
Sorry.
So I interrupted. That hurt.
The funny thing is, you didn't lose your place. You really had to process that for a second.
Yes,
and now you move on.
Because I know he's not coming back. My mindset has been better because now I go to the games and I know he's not playing. There was many games where I have season tickets. I would go to the games and I'd be like, oh, maybe Bryce is playing. Maybe Bryce is playing. Now I go, Bryce isn't playing. Bryce isn't playing.
You've accepted that.
I'm okay.
Acceptance is a big key.
Yes,
dirt on it,
and he's there. He's on the bench. Because some of the games he would warm up and I'd be like, oh, he's warming up. And then he wouldn't play. Anyways. So last night's game, going back to the refs, we're up by 15 in the second half. Providence blows it. We're down like 1 or 2. Time's running out. Next thing you know, PC's up by 3 with like 6 seconds to go at Seton Hall. Seton Hall kid comes down. Now, you're up by 3. If you foul him, the most you can get is 2, right? So it's probably smart to foul the kid. Providence kid, with his right hand, grabs the kid with his right hand and then reaches over and basically taps him with his left hand, okay? So he goes like this, and then follows him twice. The kid gets hit. They blow the whistle. He takes a step. He shoots a three-pointer. And I'm like, well, okay, they followed him way before that guy took that step and shoot that shot. So all of a sudden, the Seton Hall coach is like, this is their call for to go into the camera, to the film. So the announcers go, they're not going to go to the film. That was like, there's
clear as day.
Yeah.
There's no chance.
Clear as day.
So now they show the replay. He's like, well, he followed him here, and then he follows him here, and then like, oh, they're going to the film. And I'm like, 3 seconds to go in the game, down by 3. And I'm like, so now they're watching the film. The announcer goes, this is going to be the quickest review ever. They'll be out in 10 seconds. There's no chance. 10 seconds go by, 20 seconds go by, 30 seconds go by, and I'm sitting there like, oh, this can't be happening. This is the worst call ever in the history of college basketball. Sure enough, ref comes and goes, 3 shots. Kim English, head coach of Providence College, I'm surprised his head's still and I'm like, right? Oh my God. Down 3 seconds to go. This is the worst call in the history of college basketball.
Yeah.
He goes to the line, and he misses. And Kim English, there's a clip of him, he screams, ball don't lie. Ball don't lie. And I'm like, yes. and we won. But,
nice.
Yeah. So,
Well, to me,
but those refs.
I mean, we're chirping zebras. I mean,
We could chirp them.
we can chirp refs because God knows we got chirped.
And video and on video too. It's like, come on, guys. Like,
Well, that's like the first down one. They looked at it on video, and that's like half the NHL ones that go to video, and you're like, there's going to be goalie interference, and then they come out no or whatever, and it's like, what are you watching?
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
It's kind of like guys 2 weeks, last weekend. Well, we'll be 3 weeks now, going in minors. Should have been a major. Fuck.
Yeah, we had a few of those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same series, same team. Both lost to them.
really.
No, I know we could keep going on and on, but quick on the Bruins.
Yes.
What's your take on the Bruins this year?
I'm still a Marchand guy. I'm still a
Yeah?
Pasta guy. Like all that static around.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
That was all. I think is bullshit.
That can just go away. I don't know if it's our year though. I mean, I'm optimistic, but when I watch, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a little.
It's tough to watch some nights.
It is.
It's
How about
very tough to watch.
Last night.
Last night.
What year is it?
Horrible.
2023. So last night, what they lose 7-2.
It was Buffalo,
Yeah.
Right?
7-2.
7-2 against
Yeah.
They
Buffalo.
lost to like 2 players, like One got a hat trick. One had
Two
goals.
had hat tricks.
Oh, two had hat.
Yeah,
both of them had hat tricks. Yeah, I shut it off after the second.
Petreka and the big kid there, Tage Thomas.
Tage Thomas.
They both had 3 goals.
So it's like, what are we doing?
And Buffalo sucks.
I hate that. I hated that Swayman contract.
They handled that whole thing wrong. We've gone over this.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. You trade Allmark. You should have signed him the next day and been done with it. Not dick around. And then he got pissed off. Then the locker room got pissed off. That was handled so poorly.
And if you think about it, that's where all the bad karma started happening.
Yes.
Like right there.
Yep.
It all became...
Yeah.
And then you got, people not playing up to the potential, injuries. Those 2 big signings from Vancouver, they're not panning out.
Well, Zadorov is not a top 2 defenseman.
I went to a Golden Knights game this year in Vegas.
It's a good take.
How great?
It's the greatest thing.
Yeah.
Have you?
I haven't been. I've worked in the building, but I've
preseason
never been to a Vegas game.
Yeah,
I've worked 2 games there, 2 college games. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I've been to 2 games, and it killed me this year though watching the coach. Like, why did we
Cassidy?
Like, why did we get rid of him?
Why can't Bruins get
Great guy,
coaches
too.
like that?
Why did we get rid of him again?
Yeah.
Like, what is this about?
Jake
Because he was
DeBrusk,
too hard on the players.
Yes.
And Jake DeBrusk didn't like him.
not
And where the
any-
fuck's Jake DeBrusk?
who's
now?
not here now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
hard.
Like when do we start? Like, I don't know. It's just you cater to the players too much. I think.
You know what's fun? Winning.
Yes.
Go back, right? That's what's fun.
Yep.
That's why we go to the
Yes.
games. I will say though, Golden Knights, the production value at a Golden Knights game, it's
Insane.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have drummers come in, and they have up top. They have this the drummers have like all these electronics, and they drum and all these lights, and then they have a siren. They have a celebrity like Carrot Top, and I went to see Carrot Top.
Holy shit.
I've seen Carrot Top twice. Have you ever seen him?
No.
Well, I've never seen him live.
You have to go see him live. He's so freaking good. Like
Really?
he's so good. Really, you have to see him. I think he's done like 9,000 shows in Vegas or something like that. He announced what show it was. The first time I saw him, I said to my friend, I'm like, a lot of celebrities go see Carrot Top. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm just telling you, a lot of celebrities go see Carrot Top. I don't know why, blah, blah, blah. So we're sitting there during the show, and he does this thing with little champagne glasses, and he's running around. He goes out in the crowd, and he's running around. He's like, hey, everybody have a champagne. And then he stops right there, and he goes, hey, I got to slow down. I can't drive 55. Sammy Hagar. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? And my friend's like, my God, you called this. I'm like, yes, I did. So anyway, so they have the siren. They have the Vegas girls, like, when they're doing the warm-ups, they have Vegas girls with all the feathers around the glass. It is their announcer, which I thought was really cool. Maybe other arenas do this. I hadn't seen this before. Their announcer, like you go up the stairs and their announcer's like at a desk like this, and he's just there. He's like there. Like you could go up and touch his back. He's not in the booth. He's just there. And you can see like that brings like kind of an energy to it. And the fans, they played well their first year and, all that stuff. They have a fan base.
Oh, yeah.
And their fans, they got the mascot and their opening thing with the
ice and all that.
Out, the golden knight, and we're going to attack.
Yeah.
And let's go, go Knights go. And the place, it's pretty wild.
Entertainment.
It's one of the best.
All the ice
Way
breaks
better than
out.
Boston.
Like
Nothing against Boston, but I will admit Vegas is definitely one of the best atmospheres I've ever seen.
they put
for
a show
hockey
on.
game.
Yeah.
They put a show on.
it helps that they've been good.
Yep.
So
No question. It helps it's Vegas.
and it helps that it's Vegas.
We don't have any Vegas showgirls kicking around the seaport usually.
Yes.
Usually.
Yes.
You bring up Carrot Top. What's funny is, and I always liked him. I always, because he's creative. You got to give him that.
Oh,
right?
so good.
But so many comedians don't like him.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Jealousy, maybe.
He's not your typical stand-up
Yeah,
comedian, right?
Prop comedian
He's more
and-
like Gallagher.
Yeah.
The whole shtick and everything. But
super funny. The props and all that. But
Yeah.
even his stand-up inside of that, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
You know what else I went to? I went to the Sphere. Have you
How
seen?
sick was that?
oh,
I haven't been out the
Unreal. Who'd you see in there?
So, okay. So, we went to a movie.
First of all, did you have tickets?
How'd you get in?
He snuck into the Sphere.
Yeah.
I'm here to check the lights.
He used the stuff from the show before.
There's a bulb missing. No, I bought tickets.
Right.
$100 a ticket. $100 a ticket
That's
to go
not
see
bad.
to see a movie.
I mean, that's really not bad.
Yeah.
When you think,
So-
to see a movie?
see a movie.
Oh, all right. Well, then that's ridiculous.
So, but I'm telling you,
It's a cool movie.
Hold on. So my choices were you could go see like an animal thing, like, oh my God, there's an elephant, right? Or they had this U2 movie. And I was like, oh, I like U2. This will be cool. I'll sit there. I'll see the graphics, right? And the craziest thing I've ever seen. Show starts out, and it's hard to even explain this, but like the show starts and you see the stage. And the stage is like this table, and there out comes Bono. I didn't expect to see U2. I thought it was just going to be music, and they're going to do cool things on this sphere, right? The sphere thing. And there's the Edge, and there's the band. And I'm telling you.
Is the real band?
No,
But it looks like the real band.
I cannot describe. The thing got over. The guy sitting next to me was alone. I looked at him, I go, did you expect that? And he goes, I can't stand, man.
Can't stand.
And I go, yeah, that's the craziest thing that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I think I said this before, I could pass a lie detector. If you asked me, did I see U2? I saw U2. They were right there. They were right there playing, and all this thing. And then at one point, the top of the sphere opens up, and there's two helicopters, and your seat starts shaking a little bit, and there's the helicopters, and it's
What the fuck?
the freak, and then they shoot the lights down, and there's Bono, and there's Spotlight and Edge. It's like, and then at one point, behind them, they're playing, and Bono's talking to the crowd, just like a concert. So what they did was they filmed U2 doing a concert at the Sphere, and then somehow they took that footage and they put them in the movie. But you don't really think they're in the movie. I walked out with some idiot. He literally says this, and he goes, I thought at first it was like a U2 cover band. There were just some guys up there. I said, how long did it take you to figure out that there weren't those guys? Like 10 minutes, about 10 minutes, and I figured out it was the real Bono, and he wasn't there. But I'm telling you, if you ever saw this, they sold tour shirts for the movie. U2, there was like 100 people lined up to get a tour shirt
Of a movie.
for the movie. Yeah, people were clapping, people were singing. Like you literally felt the way they filmed this. You literally, at one point, they show all of Vegas behind them before it was built up, like just desert. And then I don't know how they did this footage. I was like, and the MGM and this. And I can't. If you ever go to Vegas, you have to go. And it was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
And don't pick the elephant. Don't pick the animal one.
Screw the elephant, the zebra, and all that. The giraffe.
But whoa, zebra, hold on. You don't screw the zebras.
Sorry about that. But yeah, it was great. And it was. There's no words to describe what I saw.
Yeah.
It was that good. I mean, you've heard people say it, and I've seen the clips and all that. But once you're in there, it's like, because even when you walked in, it was like little bricks all over. And at first you're like, I know those bricks aren't real, but man, those look real. And then all of a sudden they're like, and all the bricks go away, and you're like, whoa, okay. What is? Do you know though that at the Sphere you can buy seats that are obstructed view?
What?
Imagine buying tickets. The whole thing is watching this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a clip of the Eagles when they played there. Don Henley came out, and he goes, his first line was, "Welcome to the Sphere. We're the house band tonight." Because they even know it's not about them tonight. It's about watching this.
Is the seats like a theater seating?
It's like a stadium. So it goes like this, and then it's like this. But best seats are up top. Like I sat up top because you can see everything, right? I'm not sure. I cannot imagine sitting in the front row. Like it'd be like a movie theater. Like I just can't imagine that. But the way they built it, it goes like this and then like this. So there are seats that you would be able to see the band performing, but you wouldn't be able to see the Sphere. And I've seen people on like clips like, I bought tickets, couldn't see a thing. Yeah. like I can't imagine buying a obstructed view seat for.
They should have
Sphere.
pulled in Mike Hanley and just went to an empty seat
Yeah,
down front.
but it was
Like
I
sitting
mean,
at the garden.
there was thousands of people watching this movie with me,
That's wild.
and think about that. Talk about making money. Just hit play, 1,000 people, and they were doing it like
And $100 a pop.
$100 a pop, and then everyone clears out, and then here's the 8:00 show.
Wow.
And then the outside of the Sphere, amazing too. Like I don't know if you've seen like the eyeball and on the outside of the Sphere, they make it like it's. I can't even
It's Vegas.
It's Vegas.
It's Vegas.
It's Vegas.
Vegas,
Vegas,
baby.
baby.
They did
Vegas.
UFC fight there once too. They put
Really?
a UFC arena, a ring, and then they would when the intros, like if the guy was from Spain, they would show Spain, and they would do this all the time. Yeah, and it was just the UFC.
correct.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
the draft. I think it was the NHL draft this year.
Well, yes,
was
you're
in
right.
the Sphere.
It was in the Sphere. Yeah.
Yes.
You're
Which
right.
was crazy, right? That's
Maybe we should do a podcast there.
We should do a podcast from the Sphere.
I don't know if all these people could fit in.
We don't do a studio
we can bring 'em.
audience. Although we might. Coming up, we might.
We'll get a laugh track. We'll zip it
could.
in.
Yeah, we could do that.
Imagine if there was a studio audience and they were that quiet this whole time. That'd be weird.
Well, that would kind of suck for us as comedians. Although if anyone can listen to stories from you and not laugh, if there's fucking something wrong with them.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to check
Agreed.
them for a pulse. Seriously. Because, well, this has been fucking...
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
I
thanks.
appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
I
Nice
said,
meeting
you know,
you.
he's
Yes,
going to be
likewise.
great. Mike's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Great
Thank you.
storyteller.
Yeah.
And it surpassed what I even expected.
Oh, awesome.
Seriously.
Yes, my ribs are hurting, so
Yeah,
that's
I know.
very funny.
Have confidence, wear a suit.
And what's funny is, that's the lesson for tonight. is
We're
just-
gonna get a lot of people.
Mindset.
We're gonna get a lot of comments with like people sneaking into shit stories.
Oh, that's what
I got arrested.
When you watch, you should share your sneaking in stories.
story, yeah.
Yes,
to whatever you
definitely.
snuck into.
I want
and
to
we'll
hear
read
them.
Yeah.
We'll read them on air. Why not? Right?
Definitely.
No. What's great too is that comedians, we go on stuff. And a lot of times we get into our bits. We get into, we sneak. I've done it here. You throw out something.
Yeah, you've been
But, like,
practicing some material.
Mark's one of the
yeah.
best. Mark's one of the best crowd work people going.
Thank you.
And one of the best comedians.
But like none of those I've heard you tell on stage.
No.
Not one of those stories has he told on stage, which
Maybe I should.
you should.
Yeah.
I mean, they're hilarious. But that's the brilliance of you is like, you didn't come on and just do your bits, which would have been fine too.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
I told them about Mr. Mike. I told him some of my favorite bits, that one and the Disney one. I mean, fucking hilarious, right? I could hear that story,
How
the
awkward
Disney
that
story.
sound-
I could hear that 100 times and I still
still funny.
I know
That-
it's coming.
What was that show with Byron Allen? The
Make Me Laugh?
No, Comics Unleashed with the comedians. And
Oh,
it'd be
yeah,
so,
yeah,
it'd be so
yeah.
you'd be like, so Mike, where have you gone? I just went to Disney, Mark.
Yes.
It'd be like they'd throw the setup.
Yeah,
Yes, you're right.
They
Yeah.
set up the joke, yeah.
Yeah.
But-
I still watched it. But,
Yeah, I still watched it and laughed. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were funny jokes.
Well, yeah. It's but
They have a
that's
good product. I'll
that's
watch
what's
it.
so cool is like I just knew even if I heard the stuff I've heard, I would have laughed, but great stuff.
All right,
I mean,
awesome.
just
Thanks for-
fucking
I mean,
great
I still
stuff.
laugh at your shit when it's funny. Like I've heard it like 6 times. I'm like, oh, this is a good one.
Mark's one of my favorites. Mark knows that. Mark knows definitely one of my
What
favorites.
sucks is we don't get to work together much.
Yeah.
Because we usually, both of us usually headline and
I remember one time
know?
Mark did a joke. I won't say what the joke was, but we were sitting there and we were like, Mark's like, oh, I was thinking of doing this. And we were like, oh, I could do this. And then Mark goes right up on stage, like, no fear, and just does that joke.
and
I was
remember
like, that's
the
when you know.
superintendent story from East Hampton or wherever it was. The guy
Yeah.
who
So
got
I was
fired.
like, that is when you know you can just go up and, that's good stuff.
Whop and rip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big fan of yours. I know you're a big fan of mine. And I love the fact that you came on and I could listen to your stories all day.
Awesome.
I really could.
Thank you.
I really could.
Awesome. Thank you both.
Thank you.
That's going to wrap it up for episode 49.
9.
I lose track.
Getting old.
We got 49 episodes. That's
That is pretty good. 50's coming up.
Pretty good.
Big 5-0.
big 5-0. And if all goes well, it'll be Kevin Miller of the Boston
It'll
Bruins.
take us a year to get to 50.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That's
Not
awesome.
bad at
Brush it
all.
out.
Not bad at all.
That's very
We're on
cool.
our way, kid. We just got to find someone to throw money at us. It'll happen. So, if speaking of which, like and subscribe on the YouTube. All right. We're getting there. We're inching up to 700. We're getting there.
Yeah.
We need 1,000. So like and subscribe. Find us on the social medias, the Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok. We're on the TikTok. Find us on that. I want to thank AOA Studios. Best studio around.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
amazing.
White tablecloth, black
Amazing.
tablecloth, doesn't matter. Great
They
studio.
even clean your mess up too.
AOA, you're right. AOA Studios in Beverly, greatest studio around. Want to thank the Referees Crease, our sponsor, the Referees Crease, your one-stop shop for all your refereeing needs. And for Mike Hanley, Gino Bender Jr., I'm Mark Riley, and episode 49. We'll see you next time right here on the Chirping Zebras.